Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome on in to another round of NRRL's historic Sundays Season 3. We are doing all 24 tracks on the F1 calendar, and it is tonight, round 2 in Bahrain. Well, after an eventful first race, pressing on debut is PH19. He currently leads the Drivers' Championship by just the 5 points ahead of Dan Bliss. Of course, all points allocated to the drivers who finished. So nothing will have changed much since last week in terms of championship, but the top 5, Dan Bliss, No Grip, Deckers and Bracey. 6th to 10th being Race Chase, Dan Lovett, Jamaican Jam, Gabboy and Hash with Jamsey, Matt Tudor, Big Bruiser, Meldrum and Mr. Traps rounding out your top 15. Then from 16th to 20th is Josh, El Thaniel, James SUFC, Cardelf, and of course Real Racer 135. And then standings in the teams. Well, here we go. It is Racing Bulls who lead the way by 9 points to Red Bull. Third place is Sauber, followed by Haas and Alpine, rounding out your top 5. Mercedes, Williams, Aston Martin, and McLaren from 5th to 9th. And then 10th, with no points at all, is Tifosi team of Ferrari. Now, going into your race feed tonight, well, we are, of course, like I've already said, Bahrain. So once we've had the single session of 18 minutes, it is going to be a 52-lap race here in the sands of time. And, well, we have all 20 drivers here tonight, but hoping to do better than last week. Well, I have to say, I was pretty disappointed with the opening rounds from Lovett and Hash here. Of course, showed very good pace back when we did the Friday leagues, but it just didn't seem to translate. Lovett getting a 6th place in qualifying, which doesn't sound as bad when you look at it. Of course, he took championships in both Sunday and Friday divisions, but could not manage to get much further than that. Had 7th place and a few incidents along the way, so he'll be looking to clean that up for this week. Hash as well, just didn't really make an impact. Despite qualifying 12th, he did at least go up into the top 10, but I think he and a lot of others thought he would be performing a lot better than he would be. Mr. Traps is the first one out, and he is also hoping for better fortunes than last week. He did not finish the race from qualifying 15th, so let's see what he has got in tonight's race. Hopefully Bahrain, as he even knows he's on the broadcast, waves the flap of his wing to the cameras, and we say hello back. Of course, we all hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you all enjoyed the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which I was not able to watch, and I still haven't watched because I was also working today. So if we can please avoid spoilers, but I do know the McLarens were disqualified, but that is about as much as I know. So if you knew less than that, I am very sorry, but it just seemed to be the headline coming out the Las Vegas Grand Prix in real life tonight. But anyway, that's my one and only warning about the real life Grand Prix. Let's keep focusing on affairs in the virtual world. Of course, we had PH19 take the debut win from him, but he is not with us tonight, which is... No, yes, he is. He's just named PH now. So that's going to be one I'll need to get used to. So PH19 is now called PH. He, of course, was in the Racing Bulls last week, but this week, and well, he will remain that way this week, but now just known as PH, so keep that in mind. And also Matt Tudor as well. I mean, it wasn't terrible from Matt Tudor, let's put it that way, to put it nicely, but it just wasn't anything exceptional. I thought there might be a bit of a change with the McLaren. I mean, I know we have 24 races, we're only in the second round of this season at the moment, but I'm just hoping that, you know, the guys in the McLarens, which of course Matt Tudor and Bruiser, of course, known to be one of the more slower drivers in the season, I'm just really hoping that they can use these 24 races to go from strength to strength, week to week. Of course, we have a few breaks here and there, and unfortunately, I'm only here for about 5 or 6 races of the season, as I will be moving overseas very, very soon, and I do hope you enjoy the broadcast that you have with me. As Dan Bliss also saying hello, Captain Spoon. I did not see your Discord message, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, I won't be checking now because I am in the middle of this. Mr. Traps will be obviously getting things underway here. He'll be one of the 20, I should say, to set the first flying laps, and he is just going through turn 10 as we speak, down the short straightaway. 3 DRS zones here in Bahrain. This is one of them that you're looking at right now, and the next one isn't until the start-finish straight. We'll see what Mr. Trapp sense as a backer. He will be hoping for better than 15th, and he'll also be hoping for better in the race in order to finish first. First you must finish, and he's hoping to put that cliche to the test tonight to actually get a result. Here we go, though, going down the final straight before turns 14 and 15. Double right-hander, although technically it's just one because that slight kink there, that counts as a corner. And now down the straight, and the final DRS zone of the lap, or technically the first, depending on how you look at it. That's a 1:29.2 from the Ferrari driver. Let's see what his teammate can do, as Josh is next across the line with a 1:29.6. James SUFC, a reserve, not scoring points, but is taking part to maybe try and gain a full-time seat in case if one of the full-time drivers can't make it. He goes top of the boards for now, with Gav Boy just coming in there, third place. But there you go, 4 drivers on the board already. Let's see what everybody else is up to. We've got a singular kick Sauber, Wiki USA, not scoring any points either, as he is a reserve, so his team will not be relying on him to score points, nor will he be putting any totals towards his championship, as for obvious reasons, like we've just stated. Let's see, game crashed, need a re-invite if possible. So if anybody has a re-invite for, let's see, who was it there? Our Real Racer 135, yes. He will need a re-invite if possible, but if anybody is listening in the stream, they're like an admin or anything, please do give him one. As Ricky USA to the start-finish line, and he is the slowest of the bunch so far, but don't count him out just yet. Of course, there's still more times to come in. I'm sure there will be slower times as well. Matt Tudor on a lap, both McLarens here, hoping to do better than getting 4 points, as Real Racer has indeed joined back, so that's good news for him. He could get a qualifying lap in, still over 10 minutes of the session to go, but it looks like Bruiser is going to be slowest of the bunch at the moment, although Quincy did set a 1:33.39, a 1:39.1 there, and he will be obviously putting on a better lap there. I think it is just a little tactic to try and get the tyres into a better working order rather than pushing it for the out lap and then going for the one flying lap. He'd rather take the extra lap, as a Master Martin there generously gets out the way. That could either have been Mazza or Astro. I'll try and find out for you in the next few moments. Both McLarens now setting a time. They are the slowest of the bunch so far if you discount Quincy's unrepresentative time. But here we go, Decker's to the line. Let's see where he can go. That's 4th place for him at the start of this qualifying. And there's a Mercedes in the background, very unhappy with the Aston Martin. Let's just check out who that was. It wasn't Astro, so that was Mazza there, who just joined in last minute there. And we'll see what happens. GJ, I have not disappointed you. This is not my best. I have not disappointed you. This is not my best. He says. Thank you for the reassurance, Mr. Traps, regardless, but we'll see what happens tonight. You have 23 other races, don't worry about it. I just thought I was just thinking, well, hang on a minute, I never even mentioned you, so where did you get that from? I don't understand there. But anyway, Mr. Trap's currently up in 3rd. That's not a bad result considering. Well, not a bad start to things as of right now, but Astro there up into 6th place, and there we go, one of the Astons, both Astons now setting a time, as Quincy there we go, as expected, sets some more representative time. That's 4th place with a 1:29.2 as another one comes in there. Let me try and figure out who that was. That was a rather quick time. That might have been, yeah, that was Jamaican Jam there, up into 11th with a 1:29.8. And now, well, we have got 6 drivers who are yet to set a time as of right now. Dan Lovett also has set a time, 1:29.0, so this is looking better from him already. Disappointment in round 1. He could only muster a 6th place qualifying, like I said already, but already looking better, already within the top 5. But obviously, we still have 6 to set their times. 1, 2 to look out for are I Have No Grip and PH, along with Dembliss as well. Do not count out Race Chase either, but Race Chase likes to kind of be more towards the back in qualifying. Last week, 10th place for him, but got a 4th place gain, so got up to 6th place there. So whatever he loses in qualifying, he usually makes up for in the race. He has great racecraft like that, does the American driver, and we'll see if that comes true tonight. But no time on the board as of right now. And speaking of I Have No Grip, he has just started his outlap now, but there are other drivers currently getting their tires up to temperature. James SUFC, who was absolutely nowhere last week, 16th place, and did not finish that race as a reserve, of course, is now top of the timing boards in a completely different car. I think it was the Kick Sauber for him last week. Do please correct me if I am wrong. Traps faster than me. Check his planks, FIA. This is outrageous. Somebody might want to check the thickness of the rears there, because of course a team in real life did get disqualified for the same reason. somebody might want to check the back of that car. I think they've taken inspiration from the McLarens. But anyway, Real Racer now across the line. Looked a bit doubtful if he was going to take part, but somebody re-invited him, and he is now in the mix for quali. So here we go, under 10 minutes to go, and he can get a banker on the board at the very least. Probably going to get around 2 or 3 hot laps in before the end of the session, but let's keep an eye on the tip. Oh, and it's happened again. It's happened again. Unlucky stuff. We quickly snap to the Alpine of I Have No Grip, who of course took pole position last week in Silverstone, but could not convert it. Had to settle for 3rd place. We'll see what he can do tonight in the deserts of Bahrain. He goes across the line now, opens that rear wing, going down to turn 1 at a rate of knots that looks to be at about 210 miles per hour according to the speedo on the steering wheel. Go across that curb, slam it as hard as you can, bounce the car up and get that turn in. Now you've gone through turns 2 and 3. You're now going to the 2nd DRS zone. You're going up the hill and approaching turn 4. Right-hander here. You might just want to slow the car down. It's more medium to slow speed, but on the slower side of things. Now you get on the accelerator gently for the sweepers here of turns 5, 6, and then 7, and then 8. Slam on the anchors again. Down to 2nd gear. Get that car turned in. Gentle on the throttle output, but try to push it as well to make sure you get the maximum traction. Now, very weird corner. Double left-hander flat through the first one, but then slam it for the anchors of turn 10. Get the car turned in again. 3rd DRS zone is right here and now. A rear wing opening for the Alpine down this very short straight in comparison to the start-finish line. And there we go. Get the anchors on again, but that's more of a medium speed corner. Now it's flat out through the sweepers of left. Then you go right up the hill. Now you level out and now slam on the anchors again down into 3rd gear, but go 4th gear just so you don't spin out that rear end of the car. Now it's down the hill again for the last couple of corners. 14 and 15, sorry, yeah, 14 and 15, beg your pardon. Go a bit wide there so that you can maximize traction, and now it is just all to the line. Short spurt of DRS, and that is 6th place for our championship contender, but a bit down there this time, so it seems like it's reverse fortunes for No Grip and Dan Lovett. But hey yo, as PH is now on pole position, of course, converted it to a win from 5th position, but now hoping to go 1 step extra and go from pole to the win. He is now top of the timing boards, but hello, hello, hello. Look who's on a flyer. It is Den Bliss, who is very, very competitive, and we'll see. And it seems like Mr. Traps is sorting out the invites for the unlucky Real Racer 135. Tifosi, unlucky in the real life and unlucky in the virtual world, it would seem. But now the kick-salber of Den Bliss, and given the kick-salber for a very good reason. He is flying with this car at the moment, and he is up into 4th place, one of the slower cars on the grid, and he is able to get that into the top 5. That is very impressive work there from the kick-salber driver. Mr. Traps to the line, and that is a 129.1 for him. This is already better than last week. He'll be happy with this so far. One thing he will be wondering about is his teammate as he takes... Ooh, is that allowed in the rules of NRRL? He's taken a shortcut to minimize the time between the flying lap to the... Well, between the in-lap to the next out-lap. So, I don't know if that's allowed in the rules. I will have to see... I might have to talk to Dan about that one, because that one I am honestly not too sure about. But look at PH. Has demolished the entire field. That's 9.5 tenths just over. He has beaten everybody by even... I mean, I'm surprised by the pace of the reserve in of itself. Maybe the Williams car is just a better fit for the driver. But either way, PH there has slammed it, and I am sure he will be up for swaps from the admin. So I think we're going to have a very clear favourite coming out of this session. PH there, definitely not one to dismiss. And, well, does he even feel like going out for a final flying lap? I don't know if I would, to be honest with you. If I'm that quick, I would say I'm pretty comfortable for the race. That is insane pace from the Racing Bulls driver as Jamaican Jam goes up into 3rd place there, 129.0, but not in the realm of the 129 yet. Only 2 drivers have managed to do that, and they are at the top 2 on the on the left-hand side of your screen. Meldrum hoping for a bit better fortunes tonight, as somebody's just gone across the line now, and that was Astro there in the Aston Martin. Nice work from him. He's up into 2nd and is the 3rd driver to break into the 128. But it looks like it's going to be a high 127 to take home to take home pole position. And James just in chat now. I have surprised myself with this performance in quali. So well done to James. Of course, I could low-key get P3, says Mr. Traps. Let's maybe not talk too soon. I'm not gonna say anything as of right now. Now, just to give you a bit of background on what's been going on in the admin team, we have encouraged everybody to show player names on UDP format to 2025 and telemetry being public and telemetry being on in the first place. So these are like settings you can turn on within the game to, like, you know, find out what you were doing, sector times and stuff like that. It's literally just for Quincy's stats, and of course I commentate his league SSRL on Mondays and Tuesdays, and he is an absolute fiend for stats. I have got to say, I have never met anybody so obsessed with stats in all my life. I mean, bar one person that I know IRL, but they don't even go into as much details with the stats as Quincy does. So just gonna give him a shout out there. Well, I've got him, of course. It's been something that he's been wanting to do. It is a very iconic duo indeed, and I think that is the Aston Martin of Astro into the pits there. But of course, the main thing coming out of tonight is... that could have ended in tears if Matt Tudor was a bit further along. I think Matt Tudor was well aware of it, but either way, here we go. Matt Tudor now will start a flying lap, currently 17th in the McLaren, the team that is currently dominant, well, that has won the Constructors' Championship this year. In real life isn't really seeing the same success here in the virtual world of Nitro Realistic Racing League. Here we go. Don't know how I've got P2, says Fizzo, who is Astro94196. Welcome on into the chat, and hope you're having a good... Well, you must be having a good qualifying. James has surprised himself. Now we've got Fizzo, who's also known as Astro, who's surprised himself as well. Mr. Traps also has surprised himself, as Meldrum has retired from the session. So that must be in the pit lane. He's done that. But anyway, let's go to Matt Tudor, who we're on board with right now as he goes through the double left-hander of 9, then 10, and now turning through the card for the third DRS zone of the lap. 2.5 minutes to go. This will be one of his final flying laps. Might be his second to last one, because he'll have enough time to recharge the battery, cool down the tyres, or at least keep them up to temperature, I should say, and then go for his final fly with seconds to go. So in terms of track evolution, perfect for the McLaren, but in terms of tyre life, he is on a fresh set of tyres, so no laps done on those just yet, so he'll be on 2-lap old softs, but he'll be able to kind of calm things down on the next lap, which will be his cool down lap, and he will go again. Here we go, though, to the start finish line for Matt Tudor. He is currently going to open DRS for a short amount of time. No positional improvement for the McLaren there. Very disappointing effort, as we're still waiting for times from only Real Racer 135 and FC Freestyles. That's certainly a name if I've ever seen one. And Gaffboy has also just started a lap. Of course, we really hyped him up last week, is anticipating his return to the league. And last week, he got a qualifying of 8th place, but couldn't finish there. Had to settle for 9th place at the end of the 50 or so laps. At the end of the Silverstone Grand Prix, but now he's going to try and do one better tonight, and he is going into the pit lane, and that will be the end of his qualifying, I'm afraid. So he has no more time to improve things, and I have no grip here. I am surprised. He is down in 12th, but it is still very, very, very close, as James has retired from the session. He's crashed! He's crashed through turn 4. There he is in the background. He's got back underway. My Wi-Fi has surprised me, not my lap. Okay. a lot of surprises coming in chat, as I have no grip there. Isn't going very quickly through turns 9 and 10. But it seems to be he's just trying to cool things down. There are still a few minutes to go. I would love it if Cody's could just code the yellow flags to be below the timer for the DLCs, which of course, or F127, although will be maybe a bit past my time. But anyway, let's have a look at PH, as there's a traffic of cars behind him, and that's not optimal when you're in the middle of the lap. You get dirty air from the aerodynamics, remember. So PH starting his final flying lap. I did have the times there for just a few moments. James saying, well, we got my tyres unspun. So that is why we saw James off in the background. He will not improve. Currently in 3rd place, though, so he might stay in the top 10, but I'm not hoping for miracles here at this time of asking. I need to see who is where on track. We have Race Chase, who will be one of the first to complete his flying laps. Qualifying is now concluded, so drivers on their flying laps must complete them. No more time to get another. It is Race Chase to the line first. He will stay 10th place. Is Dan Lovett behind him? Yes, and he goes straight to second place there. That is a great time from the Mercedes driver there. Dan Bliss down to 8th, but he's on a flyer right now. There are tenths in this. There is nothing at all. There is just so little, and it could go any which way. Who has gotten their track evolution correct? Who has put in the best time? Well, there's only seconds to find out, and all sorts of drivers currently flying in the back. Here we go. Dan Bliss will be one of the first. He jumps to second place, but how long will that last? We've got his teammate Ricky in the background improving as well. No positional improvement for him. Then it is one of, I think, is that PH next across the line? No, and he's had a moment somewhere. He won't improve. What about Astro? He's not improving either. Jamaican Jam has got a McLaren in front of him. That is Bruiser, I think. But wait a minute, Bruiser has invalidated. So now, McLaren, oh my goodness, Real Racer to 3rd place. That is incredible stuff. Jamaican Jam will be next across the line. 006 cents, but on his personal best, no improvement there. Mr. Traps next to the line. He was hoping for 3rd place. Can he get there? No, it is 8th place for the Ferrari. But either way, what a qualifying for the Ferrari, who begin tonight on 0 points. 4th and 8th place, of course, we score points from 1st to 15th. So either way, if the Ferraris can keep it there in the race, they are doing well. But PH, with an exquisite time, he didn't improve on it, and he stays pole. Wow. Spoon bloody lovely, says Traps. And you know what? I don't blame him at all. With all that trouble with his hardware, he gets that car into the top 5. A real miracle from the Racer Goes. Is Real Racer a reserve? No, I think he is full-time. I was not told otherwise. But anyway, at the moment, let's have a look at your qualifying results. So, from 1st to 5th, it is PH, Den Bliss, I Have No Grip, Real Racer, and Dan Lovett, with 6th to 10th being Quincy, Astro, Traps, James, and Josh. From 11th to 15th, it's Jamaican Jam, Deckers, Race Chase, Gavboy, and Mazza. Then from 16th to 20th is Meldrum, Ricky USA, Matt Tudor, Bruiser, and FC Freestyles, the last driver to not set a time. Ferrari got no points then. Very good question. Very good question. You might want to ask them. But anyway, we will be back in about 3 minutes' time. But let's just sit on those qualifying results. Let's take a few moments and we'll just pop on some music. We'll be underway in about 3 minutes' time, but I'll be back with you a minute beforehand. Don't go anywhere. 52 laps of action to come here in Bahrain in a few minutes' time. Welcome back. It is Season 3 of the Sunday Divisions. It is Round 2. We are here in Bahrain. Of course, we will not have time to just go through the starting order, but then again, if I go to the race director, we can do exactly that. So, from 1st to 14th, it's PH, Dan Bliss, I Have No Grip, Real Racer, Dan Lovett, Quincy, Astro, Traps, James and Josh round out your top 10 with Jamaican Jam, Deckers, Race Chase and Gavboy rounding out that section of the field. But then from 15th to 20th it is Mazza, Meldrum, Ricky USA, Matt Tudor, Bruiser and FC Freestyles. But Freestyles without a time in quali. Is that a tactic to go from last to thirds? We will see. Mr. Traps confirming he is on hards, and to be honest, it would be better to go long on this first stint. So, all that's left for me to say is good luck, have fun, but let's have a clean and entertaining race. This is the Nitro Realistic Racing League. We are only a few moments away from counting down to the start. The lights should be going out very, very shortly, if I have calculated this correctly, because we should be underway at this very moment. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's go in Bahrain, and that is a good start there from PH. Can he keep the domination from qualifying? There'll be a bit of a challenge from Dan Bliss, but has to slot him behind the Racing Bulls for now. In the background, Quincy is battling with Dan Lovett. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. Ferraris are going wide, while going forward, pressed into the first corner. It all sorts itself out. There was a bit of a kerfuffle. There's gravel everywhere, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle. Sorry, 57 laps coming away. I do apologise, but at the moment there, a bit of argy-bargy going into turn 1 as expected, but look, it's 3 and 4 wide in the background here, and a Haas has just broken a polystyrene board. That might have been Jamaican Jam or Race Chase. Decker's also fighting with Mr. Traps, and there is more side-by-side action. Where has all of this come from? Drivers are fighting like it's the final lap, and we have 3 wide. Are going into this turn? Surely not. And Quincy does well to keep it on the track, but Josh as well. And there is chaos in the background. Let's see, that was Race Chase. No, 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Mazza. And Mazza there looked like he spun the Haas round, but again, I didn't get a good view of that. But either way, more battle going on. Oh, goodness me. What on earth is with these unlikely overtakes? Astro has made contact with the back of the Alpine of Josh there, which sent him into a little bit of a spin, but he recovered it nicely. But now he's got... No, he's putting the Mercedes under pressure still, so that Mercedes doesn't get a good run off the corner. But that's of Josh. Wait a minute. No, that's not the Aston Martin. Sorry about that. As PH obviously sets the fastest lap. But now, Dan Bliss is also having a little bit of a battle, because look at this. He's just going down the inside now into turn 1. And there's a Ferrari and a Red Bull battling in the background. That is going to be... Is it Mr. Traps up into 6th place? Not quite. But there's also a broken front wing end plate there on the Red Bull. It is absolutely non-stop as Ricky USA has pulled into the pits due to damage. And PH and Dan Bliss going side by side again for the lead of the race. This is crazy stuff for a 57-lap race, and we've already had a Grand Prix worth of action, and there's more in the background as Jamaican Jam and Gavboy go side by side. This is another bad start for the Red Bull driver. He's not doing a very well. He's not having a very good couple of races to begin with already. But now we can finally, hopefully, just take a bit of time. But no, we cannot. Ferrari down the inside of turn 10. And the Red Bull's going to fight that back. DRS now in effect. Let's go on board with Mr. Traps as Dan Bliss takes the lead. But this is the battle we're looking at. The Red Bull squeezing to the Ferrari all the way to the inside. And, well, the outside line works best as the Ferrari was a bit caught there between a rock and a hard place. Was a bit too far to the inside there to really get the maximum grip of the corner. And that is just hard but fair defending from Deckers there, but we missed the lead swap for the lead there. And guess what, with all that battling at the front, that's brought Dan Lovett and James into the equation. James, who went down to 9th in qualifying after a great first time early in the session, dropped all the way down the field. PH still with the fastest lap, which gets swiftly taken away from Dan Lovett. And here's the Red Bull fighting with the Ferrari yet again. Mr. Traps and Deckers side by side. That will be Deckers that wins out. No, sorry, Traps that wins out eventually. especially as PH and Demblis are now battling. Let's go on board with the kick salvo. These two are fighting very, very, very hard. And now surely DRS opening for one of them. Let's see if Dan Lovett can get close. No, he cannot. And there's more action in the background here as Meldrum is going to get alongside. I have no grip there. A bit of a surprise, but he is on the softer tyres, so he is going to use up the best of them in these first few laps, and then they will fall off rather quickly. So Meldrum forcing himself into an early two-stop there. But Traps is now right behind his teammate, speaking of, and he has had a good start, up 2 positions so far. Thought he was 6th place, he said, in the chat, but in actual fact, got pushed down the order later on in qualifying, so he is now fighting for the place he thought he was in. Well, he's there right now, but he wants to get past his teammate and try and battle for a podium position there. They are 3 seconds away. If he can get past, his teammate will real race it. Oh no! Mr. Traps there having a moment going through. Well, that is turn number 11 through turn 12. That's lost him a few tenths there to his own teammate. Will he try and help him out? Real Racer doesn't look like he's interested. He's only interested in his own race, but it already looks like Mr. Traps has got the better cornering grip, potentially got the traction on exit, but Deckers will be hoping to try and come back on this. I would focus, well, in fact, we can try and get both that battle and the lead battle in this, as I have no grip. Has had a moment there. I don't know, we didn't see it. We cut away at the worst possible moment, and the Ferraris do swap positions, but now it is side by side for the lead of the race. Demblis round the outside, gets the move done, will have DRS as he was behind the Racing Bulls at the detection point. Does Dan try and take advantage of this? No, he doesn't. He'll slot him behind for now, but now we need to see what's happening because Deckers is alongside Mr. Traps, actually, so Mr. Traps couldn't make the move work, and Deckers takes that position right back. He is on the soft tyres as Simulation Gaming saying hello. I did see you playing Euro Truck earlier on, but anyway, this is Josh and Gaffboy side by side with one another. It is Josh trying to fend off Gaffboy, it looks like, as Gaffboy down the inside. What is turn number 8 there? It has been absolutely non-stop for these first four laps. Everywhere you look, there is action, and now we're going to see Mr. Traps and Deckers have at it again. Both have DRS, and it should be the soft tyres that are better at this point. You can see the gleam coming off the edge of the tyre there, so it looks like they're still good, but Gaffboy and Josh are going side by side as well. Gaffboy gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations as Mr. Traps and Deckers go side by side again. It's the outside for the Ferrari, inside for the Red Bull, and this is working rather nicely. Astro also, despite his 3-second post-race penalty for track limit violations, wants to be involved with this. He doesn't care, as now Dan and James, where do you look? So many good battles and so much action happening. Lap 5 out of 57. This promises to be something extremely special. Please stick around for this. You are watching something I have never seen before. As now, look at this. 3 wide into turn 1. You can't be serious. You are serious. And it's currently Mr. Traps and Deckers still going side by side. Bit of contact between the two. Caution in sector 1 for something. There's somebody going wide in the background. It was an Aston Martin. That will be Mazda, and Race Chase having their own little panel as Freestyles. What's happened to him? I think he's just had a disconnect or something, but he's retired now, so his car's parked up, but no intervention from virtual race control as the Ferrari now holds on to that position, but Deckers down the inside again. He is stubbornly defending, but Astro is going to make this risky if he wants to make this a 3-wide battle, and is Quincy just thinking maybe I'm best staying out of this, but now look, Deckers again trying that over-under into turn 10, and at the moment now, 5 laps out of 57. I can't believe the amount of action we are seeing. Deckers to the inside again. Turn 11. And this is only lap 5. And now Astro is getting involved with this. I can't believe what we're seeing tonight, guys. As Quincy goes wide, allowing Meldrum to get alongside. Meldrum, of course, having problems with track limit violations. But it's all seemingly coming good so far. By this point, he had about 3 to 6 seconds in post-race penalties. But hopefully, touch wood, he is going to keep that all clean and nice tonight. Well, are we going to see a swap in this lead battle for the lead? Not at the first corner. Top 2, of course, have got their own tyres, but look at this, Astro and Mr. Traps with DRS. Mr. Traps, they're just deciding to not go for it at turn 1. Wait a minute. Wait, yes, he has the Red Bull there. I don't know what happened. He just looked like he didn't brake in time there to defend from the Ferrari. But now Deckers will have DRS going up the hill into turn 4. And the Aston Martin's going to try and get alongside Dan with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. So that's 3 seconds added on to his time. Deckers, Jesus wept, says Daryl or Simulation Gaming in the chat there. And, well, you're going to have to be a little more specific than that because, goodness me, there's been so much of that going around. I don't know if I could really pinpoint one moment where I would have gone and said that, but either way, what a crazy opening few laps here, and there is more to come. I can tell you that for free. This has been an emphatic, electric, and cooked start to this Grand Prix. I can't wait to see more of this, and there's more action to come. This is a 100% distance Grand Prix, by the way. No safety cars either. That's the great thing. Nobody's made dramatic contact with one another. Well, unless you discount Race Chase and Mazza coming together, but that gave Race Chase a 10-second penalty. He will serve that in his first pit stop with a 3-second penalty. Doesn't matter how much you accumulate. Can't serve that in the pits, but here we go. PH will now have to defend from the kick Sauber going down the inside here, but that is going to be all said and done for the time being. James even keeping up with this. Had DRS there down the start finish straight. Don't think he's going to be within that 1 second window when he gets to the next detection point, and I don't think he was, so he's not going to have DRS, and he's going to, well, the top 3 is going to begin getting away from him as now, well, we have a swap between Jamaican Jam and Race Chase. Race Chase's race, for no pun intended, I promise, is currently still alive here. Despite that 10-second penalty, he can still improve. It is one stop, but you lose those 10 seconds. But if your strategy is good and you try and, like, you know, play it within the means, of course, safety cars will help in that regard. And I'm saying that we are probably going to have one here as both Alpines are out of the points in all the action there. I didn't quite catch what happened there. I think one of them must have had a bit of a pit stop, but here we go again. Let's have the action rock up as now the Aston Martin of Astro goes round the outside of Deckers there and gets 7th place. But now here are the Ferraris going to do battle with one another, and that is as academic as you like, as Mr. Trapp's playing with his DRS flap. I did not intend that to come off as it did. I do apologise there. That was not what that did not come off as it should have sounded. But either way, that is now Mr. Traps up into 5th place, and he is currently leading the way in terms of the battle for 5th place at the very least. Not leading the overall race, but he'll be hoping to get there, but has 7.6 seconds to get to James there, as now PH is going to go for the lead of the race yet again. And that is going to be a rather academic overtake into turn 1. What about Mr. Traps here? He's defending from his teammate here. He's actually going to try and go down the inside and try and stop his teammate having a go. But I don't think Real Racer has any interest in fighting him, to be honest. I think he was just probably doing that to keep his teammate's engine cool, or at least that's how I will interpret it anyway. For lack of a better way of putting it. And now, Real Racer will have a second burst of DRS to defend from that approaching Red Bull of Deckers, and Deckers has got a missing end plate, as highlighted in chat. There we go, I found the word eventually. Yeah, no, but he's doing very well there to hang on to it, but on those soft tyres, that wouldn't be the situation I would want to be in. Of course, you're missing that aerodynamic performance by having that end plate go missing. And it's, you just lose that crucial grip. And on those soft tyres, you're just going to be using them up that little bit more. So this is really not what Deckers would have wanted in his opening stint. Was hoping to, I bet, try and get into the top 5, maybe even the top 3 here, as we're going to look at now what is a DRS train all the way down to about 13th, 14th place there, maybe even 15th place, because Mazza has a 20-second gap to Bruiser, and of course Mazza in the final point scoring position, but I do believe Mazza is a reserve, so he wouldn't be scoring anyway. I have no grip with a 3-second penalty, and his race is in absolute smithereens, as now Real Racer has got all the way to the inside to give his teammate a bit of a warning here, so I don't think he's happy with how things are going in terms of pace, as Den Bliss now gets past for the lead of this race, but that's only temporary as he locks up massively into turn 1, missing the apex altogether. There's an apex somewhere, but there we go, Den Bliss thrown offline. You can see how much it's thrown him off, and now PH is going to try and attack this one round the outside, up into turn 4. Has he got that move done? Yes, he has. And now Mr. Traps is going to have to defend from his teammate, or it's going to have to be his teammate defending from Deckers, or will it be Deckers defending from Astro? It's kind of a mixture of all three of those complications, as now we also have Race Chase attacking Matt Tudor, but unable to get down the inside, up the hill into turn 4. He'll have to slot him behind for the time being, but Race Chase not having a great day of things. Qualified 13th is currently there, and also got involved with contact on lap 1 or 2, so his race has been compromised a little bit. Would love a safety car just to get rid of that 10-second penalty for severe contact with Mazza. But either way, they are in this DRS train, so there's still a chance at results if you play the strategy correctly, but that's going to be on the next... that's going to be what's next on their minds, is what do we do here in this situation, as Meldrum and Gavboy having a bit of a battle. Gavboy up into 10th place, but also serving a 3-second post-race penalty for track limit violations, and an early one at that, so hoping not to add on to his total by any more than he already has. But either way, these two have been inseparable since lap 1. Den Bliss trying to go for the move to second place. He's hoping to make sure PH doesn't get a second win in a row. And PH got pole position this time around. Converted the win from 5th place last week. Did the Racing Bulls driver. And Den Bliss to the inside already. And look at that. I think PH is playing a game of DRS chicken as he goes back down the outside. My goodness me. But Den Bliss has the DRS going up the hill. But they're both using their battery. Den Bliss had nothing left. And now, can he get the better exit from the turn 4? No, he cannot, as Jamaican Jam and Race Chase get past the McLaren of Matt Tudor, as now Meldrum and Gavboy have another battle, as now Astro and Deckers also have a battle side by side here into turn 4, where we saw a couple of battles not go anywhere a few moments ago. We've seen these two have a great battle, and there we go. Astro up into 7th place again, but can he stay there? Surely those softs must be about done for the Red Bull, and of course that damaged front wing isn't going to help affairs either. So either way, we are having an absolutely amazing Grand Prix so far, and this is certainly something we did not expect this early on. All sorts of action, and there is an absolute cluster of cars we are looking at right now, but Den Bliss and PH are about to do battle yet again, and we will see how this all goes out. Going down the hill, Josh and Bruiser have also swapped for 16th place in the background there as well. I wish we kind of had that little TV direction where they pop out that battle in a box. But either way, not going to complain too much, as now we have DRS opening for Den Bliss, but also Dan Lovett there, who's kept himself at arm's length. I think he just wants the podium, and who can blame him? Bad start to the season last week in Silverstone, as Den Bliss now to the lead, but PH is going to try and fight that back through the next few turns. Deckers goes into the pit lane, and that'll be one worth to keep an eye on. Let's just see how this battle turns out for the lead first, though. I really want to see if Deckers decides to replace that front wing of his, and yes, he does, as we cut away from the lead battle, and that is Deckers, I think, unless if there's a safety car, out of any sort of good result there. He'll be hoping for a top 10 at minimum, but last week got second place in quali and converted that, well, lost 2 to get 4th place, and that's Meldrum in the back as well. At least, well, Meldrum doesn't have any 3-second penalties at this early part of the race and is trying to finish, is at least trying to finish the race. Of course, Meldrum got a reputation there for not finishing races that he began, as Matt Tudor there also missing a front wing end plate, but tried to battle with Mazza through what was turn number 7 there, and he was not able to get past at that moment. Yep, Deckers with a missing end plate, as already said in chat. By the way, just want to say hello to everybody currently coming in to the race. You have missed a whirlwind of opening 5 laps here. Action up and down the field, and it's not really separated out, to be honest. You have the occasional 1-second gap here and there, but this is just an outstand there, nearly into the back of the Racing Bulls driver. This battle for the lead will go for another lap, and these 2, or 3 I should say, even 4 if you count the Williams at the back of your frame there, not pitting at all, side by side into turn 1, go the Kick Sauber, and the Racing Bulls lock up from the Kick Sauber, but they still stay within nearly 2 tenths of one another. These 2 are inseparable. Den Bliss with the run out of the corner. I thought he was going into the back of the Racing Bulls, but he's got alongside enough doesn't have the battery. Doesn't matter. He's got to get alongside into turn 4. Can Dan find a way through despite his post-race penalty, which isn't stopping him from staying with this battle? But PH holds on for now. What about the Ferraris? No change there. What about with Quincy and Astro? No change there for now. Race Chase has to remain behind Gavboy for another lap as well. Now up into 10th place and up 3 positions. But of course, part of that is due to pit stops as well. So Mr. Traps gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. So that's going to have to be served onto his race at the end. But he's not the only one there, as Meldrum has now sadly gone and got a 3-second penalty. And even the Alpine of IF No Grip is having a rather terrible evening. Just to kind of give you an idea of where he was last week, he qualified pole position, couldn't convert it to a win, but got 3rd place regardless. And he is now all the way at the back, 19th place, outside of the points there. And, well, obviously, those of you that are new to the Nitro Realistic Racing League, pardon me, we score points from 15th all the way to 1st. So I will, of course, go through the points totals a bit later on when there is a bit more of a gap. But either way, there is nose-to-tail battling going through the field. And it has just been entertaining to see. And now there is a swap for the lead yet again between Dan Bliss and PH. And probably not the last time we will see that either. And it's not been the first time either. These two, like I keep saying, are inseparable. As now the Ferraris also swap. We'll, of course, just kind of see that out. And then we will see if PH can get back past Dan Bliss. But no luck there as they go up the hill on lap 13 out of 57. This Grand Prix is flying by. And it's, of course, obvious to see why. But here we go again. Can Mr. Traps make his way back past his teammate? Certainly thought about it, but decided not to do anything about it. Didn't want to make contact here. Of course, the Ferraris going into tonight with 0 points on the board. And Meldrum takes fastest lap away there, and he has just got past Deckers, speaking of, and Deckers, of course, having his own miserable race as Meldrum goes deep into turn 1. That might affect his run a little bit and give Deckers a chance to potentially get back past. Let's go on board with the Red Bull as he goes up the hill, as PH is also just trying to catch up to Dan Bliss as they go into turn number 11 in the map there, but no change there for 14th for the time being. But PH still very, very close here to the lead, but so is Dan Lovett, and Dan Lovett is having a much better race than he was last week. Qualified 5th place there, so a place higher than last week, but now running in 3rd place, even with his 3-second penalty. As there we go, PH, I think, was trying to throw off the kick salver, but you're not really going to do much there with that half-hearted attempt. Dan Bliss wise to it, but now he, at least the Mercedes and the Racing Bulls, will have DRS going down into turn 1. Dan Bliss going left and right. Bit of contact between the two as they approach turn 1. But Dan Bliss is holding it. He is very, very tight with the Racing Bulls. Bit of contact between the two, but it is very minor. The Ferraris also swap again, but this is becoming rather intense as now Dan Bliss having to force defensive moves. Here we go, side by side into 4. And at the moment, there's still side by side even on the exit, and something had to give. And it was the Racing Bulls there. Mr. Traps and Real Racer also swapping positions. I think they're trying to help each other out as Quincy has got past Astro there. So that's 1 of 3 that he needs, and he's currently flying his way through the field as Meldrum again takes fastest lap of 1:33.1. Matt Tudor into the pits now, so let's see what he's going on to. It's a fresh set of mediums for him, so it looks like a lot of people going with the medium with the two-stop strategy, it would seem, as now Deckers and Meldrum are having their own little battle for what is unlucky 13th place. Down the inside of 4 goes the Red Bull, and that is all said and done. And at the moment, we are still waiting for pit stops from, well, 16th and then all the way down from 12th to 1st. So only 6 drivers stopping so far, and Josh on a 2-stop already. That might be due to damage, but either way, the Alpines came into tonight with a decent 18 points here, only 13 points off the lead. Racing Bulls obviously taking that one thanks to PH's win from last week, and now he's going to continue the good run of results as things stand right now. And here we go again. DRS zone has been approached. Dan Lovett very much at arm's length in 3rd place as PH takes back the lead of the race, but Dan Bliss will have that going up the hill. It's a toe-up, but no, he doesn't. He doesn't wait. He's going to try down the inside. PH gives him the room. Dan Bliss acting like a young Max Verstappen, diving into turn 1, and now DRS will open for the kick salver, and there you go, using all of his battery up into turn 4. PH allows him to have that, and PH pushes him through the corner. And, well, Dembliss, they're having to slow that right down. Probably heated up his front tyres as well. Probably didn't have the turn-in that he wanted. And that is now, well, they're back to the lead of the race after a brief little swap. And this is very, very exciting stuff either way. And now there is all sorts of battles happening in and around the field. And there's Gavboy getting involved with the Haas drivers all the other way around. It could be either or as Race Chase and Gavboy going side by side through those next few turns into turn 8. And it is still Gavboy ahead of Race Chase. But Jamaican Jam was the one who got past him earlier on. And we'll stick with this because then the leaders will also be approaching the DRS zones in a few moments' time. I Have No Grip gets past Bruiser for 17th place, so he's slowly making his way up the field and bringing down the gaps bit by bit, but he is just well outside of this as things stand right now. And even his teammate Josh, who is just in another galaxy, to be honest. Josh just trying to finish the race. He also DNF'd after qualifying 19th. 18th, beg your pardon, in last week's race. Race Chase unable to find a way through on the Red Bull this time of asking, but now has got a bit of pressure from Mazza behind. Mazza has not done a pit stop just yet. Of course, Deckers will be the next one behind. Of course, had to extend his stop thanks to replacing a front wing. And to be honest, the longer these drivers stay out, the more Deckers brings down that gap. But of course, he is out of sequence with the entire field. He was on softs to begin his first stint. And not a lot of people were on that one. Meljum was the other one as well on the softs at the beginning. As that Race Chase, I think, has finally got a run on the Red Bull, but nowhere to go with it. And look at how much battery he's using as he goes up the hill into turn 4. Nowhere to go with that momentum that he has got. And it's just seeming like Race Chase is just in between a rock and a hard place at the moment. Doesn't help that Gavboy has DRS to his teammate as well. That is Jamaican Jam. But ultimately, Gavboy just doing what he needs to do and keeping the other Haas driver behind at this current moment in time. And of course, Race Chase, as we all know, with a 10-second penalty to serve at his next stop. But we are now going to just cut back very briefly to the leaders before looking at a couple of other battles around the field as well. And at the moment, Dan Lovett just seems to be not quite there. And I think he is just maybe taking into consolidation his 3-second post-race penalty and just maybe waiting for one of these two just to kind of make a mistake there. And maybe just try and see if he can get a fight for, at the very least, second place, maybe even first place as well. But we'll soon see how that all works out. We'll begin lap 17 in a few moments' time. There you go. The counter moves up another lap. And now PH is going to try again and try and battle into turn 1. Round the outside of Dembliss this time. So Dembliss is defending heavily. He locks both his fronts. But this time PH has done enough to be alongside. But who was behind at the DRS point? These two still go side by side. It was the Racing Bulls who will have the DRS up into turn 4. But Dembliss isn't giving up so easily just yet. Bit of a slide there from the Kilik Sauber, but it was very subtle. But PH keeps it together and goes into the lead of the race. These two are fighting tooth and nail, and it is proving to be a very entertaining watch. These two are taking the headlines so far as Meljum and Deckers again doing battle for 13th place into turn 1. Deckers with the over-under, and these two battling. They are not bringing down the gaps to the ones in front there. So at the moment, Deckers, of course, was very high up. Well, it wasn't that high up the field. He was in 12th place and qualifying, and isn't really doing much better right now as James now gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations, and a few other drivers have now followed suit in that regard. He probably won't be the last either. But here we go again. Dan Lovett is able to get close through these sets of turns and then waits and waits. But then as soon as you get down to the start-finish straight, he's just nowhere to be seen. He's a few tenths off and all of a sudden just hasn't really got anywhere to go with that. I do just want to kind of check the charge on Dan's. Look at that. He's got so much charge to go. And you look at Dembliss or somebody like that, and they are already using their charge. And PH as well has got the same amount of charge around and about with Dan Lovett. But here we go. Dembliss will go to the inside on the start-finish straight, and James there in the background is off into the pits. He will have a 10-second penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane, and that is going to really be a massive dent in what was looking to be a promising evening for currently the reserve Williams driver. That is rather unfortunate for him. The surprising qualifying, in his own words, he even surprised himself, and that has just been undone with that 10-second penalty. Would love a safety car to try and bring himself back into the equation, but maybe not at this current moment in time, as now Quincy is overtaken by Astro, so Quincy couldn't bring down the gap to the cars in front and is now battling with the Aston yet again. as James now and his pit stop down to 14th place, but 1.3 seconds to the battles in front, but will now need to serve 10 seconds either post-race or in his next pit stop, and the latter of the two probably more likely. So third DRS zone for these three drivers, but no moves there. So it looks like these three just saved their battery going down as we have a caution. Oh, it's Real Racer has lost in this entire front wing, and safety car number 1 is deployed. And that is poor timing if you are James now, because you have a 10-second penalty to serve. And now, what do you do? Do you say, let's go hards to the end of the race? Who has not pitted yet? That is your entire top 11, and Bar Bruiser as well as Jamsey has joined us as well, but he won't be able to join in this race, that is for certain. But here we go, let's go to the lead of the race, but it is Real Racer losing his entire front wing. It brings out safety car number 1 on lap 18 out of 57 it was, but we've counted into lap 19, obviously due to the fact that we are obviously just come across the start-finish line now. And it is all top three into the pit lane. Does Mr. Traps give Real Racer enough room to at least not double stack? And I think Real Racer is also slowing down quite a bit. And you can see that Sakura livery of the Haas. That is a beautiful livery, I must say so myself. And now there you go, Real Racer was given a lot of room to actually get his front wing end plate changed. Great driving from the Ferrari. He won't lose as much time now, even in a double stack. And now the Ferrari will be released into 11th there, so not as bad of a loss there. And in fact, he will gain a 9th place as well. But obviously, those that did pit shouldn't really pit. But yet again, Meldrum will go through as FC Freestyles has left the session. He's the only retirement so far. And let's see, does Real Racer also have floor damage as well? We didn't quite see what happened to him. Real Racer, do you have any floor damage? He is Captain Spoon in the Twitch chat. And I would love to know what the heck happened there. When you have a bit of time. But either way, let's kind of sum up the first 19 laps. No, unlucky. Oh, he even says it himself. Very, very lucky to still be racing here. So thank you very much for your insights in the chat there. And hard started wearing and I lost concentration. Okay. But no floor damage for the Ferrari, as he reports himself there in the Twitch chat. So we will continue racing for the time being, and we'll continue racing under safety car. So we'll probably have about 2 or 3 laps. We should be underway, I think, at maximum on lap 23 out of 57. It will be 35 laps as Mr. Traps here on for the podium now, but does have a 3-second post-race penalty. And well, drivers not to be discounted. Don't forget Jamaican Jam. Don't forget SSRL Quincy either. But don't forget his teammate, Real Racer. No penalties to his name so far. And they are going to be saving tyres while they are behind safety car. They will want this. You ain't keeping it, says Deck. Oh, goodness me. And Deckers as well. Don't forget him. He's now brought back into play thanks to this thanks to the safety car. And James obviously brought back into play as well, but now has a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. But of course, now I Have No Grip also brought back into this, as there's a Mercedes peeling off there. Who was that? That was Meldrum peeling off there into the pit lane. He is on 9-lap-old mediums, and I think has seen the situation and has said, you know what, I think I'm actually best going on to a set of fresh tyres. Let's see, it's fresh, hard tyres for the Mercedes driver, beg your pardon. And the Scotsman now comes out of the pit lane, but where will he come out? It will be, well, for his own sake, he'll be hoping it's in front of the kick cell, but that is approaching at a rate of knots. Here we go, though. Is Meldrum going to be ahead, but he's got 2 track limit penalties here. 6 seconds for him, and no, Ricky USA was ahead at the safety car line, so Ricky now will take 13th place away from the Mercedes, and Ricky USA on better tyres for the early part of the stint. Now, we would be waiting for Bruiser to catch up, so I do think we'll be underway. I'm doing well, but that was such a stupid move, says Captain Spoon, and it's time to go through the pack, he says. So Real Racer is ready to race, and well, thanks to Meldrum pitting, he has 1 less to worry about. So he is up to 9th place now after that pit stop from the Mercedes. But Denbliss and PH, inseparable since lap 1, will now remain inseparable, but now with 17 drivers behind them. And Dan Lovett there has just kept at arm's length, but he's going to be under serious pressure, and by more than 1 driver. A lot of drivers with a lot of pace up and down the field. Bro, what just happened? My car jumped when I went off the curve. I'm going... I didn't see anything, to be honest with you. As there you go, Decker's there. Let's just have a quick look at him. He doesn't look to have any visible damage to the car. As there's a bunch of cars just trying to go side by side with one another at the moment. So it looks like they are just going to sort themselves out. We are waiting for mainly Bruiser to catch up with this. So I think we will be going. I think it is going to be about either lap 22 or lap 23. We'll be back under racing conditions. But oh no! Late call from the virtual race control says safety car in this lap, and Dan Bliss will get us underway. And what in the NASCAR have I just seen there as we get back underway? Dan Bliss, oh my goodness me, there's been an impact in the background there. The Alpine of I Have No Grip has slowed right down, and he has lost a bunch of positions, and now we're going to have to see what's happening in this battle here as Quincy now doesn't want to waste any time. Contact between the two, between him and the Aston Martin, and now up the hill into turn 4. Astro is defending as hard as he dares, and now side by side going into turn 4. Can Quincy do it? Yes, he can, but does the Hards have the initial acceleration? No, they do not. And Jamaican Jam taking advantage of that as well into the next turn. And Jamaican Jam up into 6th place as well. Dan Lovett remains 3rd for now, but there has been all sorts of kerfuffling in the background as the Ferrari has now gone down the inside as the Red Bull pushes off Mazza into turn number 8 there, and that's all sorting itself out. But Real Racer around the outside of Gaffboy going into 9 and 10. This is amazing stuff, and there's been a major collision in the background. Ricky USA, somebody's front wing has gone to shreds, and that'll be the Aston Martin that you see at the front of your frame there. That looks to be Mazza. It is spreading carbon fiber all over the circuit. And this is already an exciting restart, and it just feels like what we saw on the first lap as Deckers through, and he is up in 7th place. He's got his teammate in front as now Quincy through into 4th place. James is swapping places with Race Chase, as he does with Matt Tudor as well. And it looks like Astro and Real Racer are going side by side as well. Real Racer doing very well to at least take advantage of this. But now we are going to have to look at the lead of the race. Look at where do you look in a situation like this? Mazza to the pits for his front wing damage, as now PH takes the lead of the race, but no DRS was activated. Who has it going up the hill? Let's wait and see. It is Dan Bliss here, so can Dan Bliss do something here? No, he can't. It's not close enough, as Real Racer with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. He will serve that at the end of this race. Or he might appeal that, we never know. But either way, Dan Bliss losing the lead to PH, but those two have been swapping since the beginning of the race. So it's really a question of who will be on attack towards the end of this Grand Prix. It is going to be an interesting strategy call, and this is one to keep an eye on, that is for sure. We have 36 laps to go at the line, and this one is really one to watch out for. James has just made his move for 13th place, and you never know, somebody from the back could make their way up as well. You just never know, as I Have No Grip really does have no grip this time, living up to his own username. Would you call yourself I Have No Grip if you wanted to be a successful racing driver? I don't think I would. Can we check tyres, says the Spawn Loop. You absolutely can. Soft tyres for Mazza after his unfortunate front wing incident with one of the drivers at the beginning of the restart, but it's 3 laps. Here we go, 4 drivers on medium tyres, beg your pardon. Well, I say that 4 of the top 5 are on medium tyres, as there we go, near lockup for Dan Bliss there into turn number 14 there. But at the moment, we are seeing a very, very good battle happening, and at the moment it is now involving Quincy as well. I told you not to count him out, and he's making good on that, as now Dan Bliss wanted the outside, but then decided the inside, locks up his front rights into turn 1, missing the apex entirely, goes very wide, and that Constantina's Dan Lovett back into this. Right, Constantina, Quincy into this as well. Caution in sector 1. There's been an incident in the background, but we're still fighting for the lead here, and that is a move from Dan Bliss. But finally, Dan Lovett decides to get his gloves on and fight for this 2nd place, but nowhere to go on his first time of asking, as Gavboy also up into 8th place, and that is this is absolutely amazing stuff there, as Astro has lost a piece of his front wing again, which goes flying off to the runoff area, and that is going to be an aerodynamic loss. It's his front right end plate there on the Aston Martin. You can already see the understeer as he goes through turn 9. He has lost a severe advantage there, which he really, really needed. And now we can try and calm things down a little bit because there's not much action on the field. But then again, well, much action on the track. But we will soon see if that continues to be the case. Either way, though, we are absolutely being spoilt tonight. It has been an absolutely emphatic Grand Prix. And with that safety car, it's bunched everybody up again. And, well, many of the neutrals will be thanking Real Racer for losing his front wing on lap 18 because it's given us an absolutely explosive restart. And that's brought in Quincy and Jamaican Jam in the Haas. Here we go again, though. As Real Racer takes the fastest lap, we will see potentially a swap for the lead. Astro into the pits for his damaged front wing end plate. Both Aston Martins pitting for front wing damage. Dan Lovett very wide into turn 1, and well, at the moment he keeps third place for now, but is he going to be compromised as we go up the hill to turn 4? Yes, he will be. Quincy going side by side. The Ferraris in the background as well as they go, well, as Quincy up into third place, and that was Real Racer getting past Mr. Traps there. Surprised to have seen that. Maybe the Ferraris trying to work together to bring home points for the Tifosis. Remember, no points because Real Racer wasn't a full-time driver last week, and we will soon see. Well, Ferrari bring home points at this point as Bruiser also into the pit lane. I think he might be in for damage as well. He's onto soft tyres, so he's going to run a very quick middle stint and then go on to hards towards the, well, to get himself to the end of the race, I would presume. And at the moment now, it's a top 7 battle, but, well, you really need to take that with a technicality because at the moment 4 of the top 7 have 3-second penalties post-race. I have no grip also trying to make moves to get up the field. James and I have no grip go side by side through 11, then through 12. These two are absolutely having a great battle so far, and then more entertainment on top of what we're already getting. And there's contact between the two. Luckily everybody's staying in the right direction, but James is missing a front wing end plate as well. But now we have to quickly pull away because we are about to see a rather entertaining prospect happen here. Dan Bliss catching up to the back of PH there, and actually Quincy losing a lot of time there, despite being in the slipstream and the DRS there, and nothing really going right for him on that part of the lap. But here we go again. PH will have DRS here as James and I have no grip. Swap again, but PH to the outside. Dan Bliss doesn't fight that too hard and allows the Racing Bull through, and he will have to settle for second place yet again. What about Deckers, though? Does Deckers try and swap with his teammate? He hasn't been able close enough to do so. Deckers without a 3-second penalty at this moment of the race. And he is just currently just binding his time on his teammate. I think his teammate is much slower at the moment than Deckers. And Gavboy also has a 9-second post-race penalty to serve. That is the most of the drivers so far. But of course, in totals will increase as the Grand Prix continues to go on. We are approaching the halfway point in a few laps' time. As there we go, Real Racer and Jamaican Jam going to do battle. Real Racer doesn't care that he's got that 3-second post-race penalty as he goes off the track in turn number 11 and nowhere to go. He was off the track. He wouldn't have been allowed to make that overtake stick. The stewards would have asked him to have given that back, and in the end he doesn't go anywhere with it, but he will have another go because the next DRS zone is just after turns 14 and 15. The circuit that has been awarded the FIA Institute Centre of Excellence, whatever that means, is now providing us one heck of a Grand Prix as well in the sands of time. And we are currently about to open DRS as Dan Bliss now to the inside, and he has taken the lead of the Grand Prix, but for how long? He locks his front tyres again, and James, well, it gets back 12 in a matter of moments, and Jamaican Jam and Dan Lovett, Dan Lovett down another position. Is he going to try and fight back through the next few turns? He will have DRS and PH there, back to the lead as well, but what is happening in the background of that battle as Real Racer to the outside of Dan Lovett, and he's got that done, you know. That is an impressive move, and Deckers has lost out to 10th place as now I have no grip, and then Williams is off the track. My goodness me, what happened there to have that dramatic picture in coming to your frame? And they're going to go side by side into the next turn. A bit of contact, a lot of contact, and I have no grip has spun, and that is not gonna be helpful to his Grand Prix ambitions, and he is now gonna remain behind the Williams as well, as that is the Williams going very wide. Is this gonna end in tears? No, I think the Williams is just gonna let him have it after all of that. I'm not sure why, though. It didn't look like the Williams was at fault, but no, he isn't. I think he just genuinely made a mistake here, as I have no grip, pushing the Williams. Oh my goodness! What was going on there? That was I have no grip pushing the Williams through, and in the end, the Alpine is the one that spun round, and we have a VSC. Was it because of that? I'm very confused here. I don't see anything initially on track that would have spawned the VSC. And apparently, according to this, yeah, I think it is a timing glitch with the game. We have a timing glitch with the game, yeah. It's not counting 14 and 15 as being under VSC. I'm not as sure as to why. I don't think that is what's being represented for the drivers at the moment. But either way, I think that instant is going to go to the stewards afterwards. I would say that that is a possibility for after the race, but VSC slows everyone down. Shouldn't really be out too long. I don't see any debris on the track. We are just approaching the halfway point now. It will be between laps 28 and 29. And then, well, it's certainly not... Well, it's certainly been action-packed. I'll give you that for free. Drive-through penalty for Mazda for speeding under, as I have no grip. Retires from the race there. So from highs of last week to the lows of this week, that is the end of the Alpine driver. And the only Alpine left running is Josh there, who is now about to do battle with who his teammate did battle with earlier on. And that is a rather easy move, as Astro also retires from the session there. So that's the third driver. Esteban Bliss gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And these two are having a bargy battle. Very much representative. So the Alpine's under fire from the Williams here. And that is just of James alone. Quincy is not aware of any of this. He's blissfully ignorant, as he's currently battling for second place. And, well, that has become a definite second place thanks to that post-race penalty. So now Astro, I have no grip, and FC Freestyles have now retired in the pit lane. And now Josh will lose the position again to the Williams of James. Safety car restart was a disaster, says Astro. I could kind of tell. I'm sorry about that. I caused the VSC because I spun. Oh, okay, because another driver also spun as well, and that's what I thought caused it. No grip spun as well, but Astro confirming he hit the wall after a spin, and that is why we saw the VSC, as Quincy has actually dropped back by over a second. But this battle is taking our attention at the moment, because this is one of the closer ones on track, as now we go to the start-finish straight. Josh there. Well, oh, James there. Oh, my goodness me. That could have ended in tears. What was James doing there? I'm not quite sure. Was that kind of a warning shot there from the Williams driver? I'm not sure as to why that happened. As there we go, the Williams goes very wide and parks it in turn one. What is going on with the Williams tonight? As he's going to lose a position to Meldrum now. We're going to continue racing as we were. But my word, that was some drill. That could have been easily a race ending. I don't know if there might have been a bit of a problem, but either way, we're going to cut back to this battle for third place. And now, all of a sudden, gaps are starting to become apparent, as now Real Racer down the inside of Jamaican Jam. And Real Racer, of course, the first full safety car. It's now battling with the Haas of Jamaican Jam. And at the moment, he's trying to do the over-under, going up turns 12 and 13. But no success there for the Tifosi driver. As now he's going to go down the hill and will get another attempt at DRS, but Jamaican Jam will be in prime defensive mode. He will know that Ferrari is rather quick behind him, from 10th at the restart. Well, actually 9th at the restart, all the way up to 5th already in 6 laps. That is incredible pace from him, as here we go now, as Jamaican Jam will make his way past Quincy into turn 1. And, well, that is Quincy down to third place. But for how long does he try and fight this back? Dan Lovett also getting involved with this. PH has ran away from all of this. He is not involved. That's Quincy there. Yep, I think he was playing DRS chicken with the Haas as well. And he gets back past to go into the top 3. We're on lap 29 out of 57. The halfway point has been broke, as there's a caution in sector 3 for a stricken Williams again. That Williams has spun round. I didn't see the initial the yellow flag. I just had to look at the track for the dot, and that's what we saw. But either way, no intervention again required from virtual race control, and we are back under normal racing conditions. very, very quickly. But either way, it looks like James has suffered a rather boatload of damage, and it looks like he will not be able to continue. As caution in Sector 3 now for Race Chase. What's happened to him? I'm just trying to see if he's currently stuck in 8th gear. Has he had a hardware issue or something? Is he able to turn the reel? And oh, look at that! He's missing a front wing end plate, and I wonder if there was a collision prior to that. Let me check the Discord, because this is drama unfolding in real time. And we are at the moment now, as Bruiser is retired in the pit lane, so he's not going to influence anything. But either way, it's getting explosive here in Bahrain. We are seeing the sands of blood rather than the sands of time. It is red in Bahrain. And right now, we're about to see another battle take place here right in front of us. Our eyes here. Jamaican jab to the inside of Quincy. But Real Racer trying to fight as well. He's going to have the outside, but Quincy is going to somehow block both of them. The Haas of Race Chase going very slowly indeed. I'm just trying to see if there's anything in the Discord, but Real Racer gets past Jamaican Jam in all of that chaos. And that is all said and done. For the time being, I don't see anything in the general chat so far, so it's all nice and calm there at the moment, although that might be about to change in a few moments' time. But Race Chase not saying anything so far. And yeah, no, it's certainly been a very chaotic race, all in the grand scheme of things. And we're now starting to see the end of it. We're currently at 9:20 UK time as Race Chase speeds there for track limits, and I think that might be the last we see of him as well. He's actually parked up there for exceeding track limits, beg your pardon. What has happened to him? As my goodness me, James there having a big spin going through turn 1. That's going to bring out a caution in sectors 1 and 2, and Race Chase is moving slowly as well. What is going on? I have no clue. My tears are going. Well, that is certainly true, as are his rears. So at the moment, James is flooding his cockpit with salty tears. And at the moment now, as we go into turn 1, Quincy loses 3rd place there. But for how long is another matter, because he will be right on the rear of the Ferrari going up the hill. Real Racer goes to the inside to defend. And now it is Quincy back up into 3rd place. But the Ferrari fights that back. Does the Williams try the over-under? Well, the Ferrari didn't have the best of exits, but doesn't matter. Covers him off. And we continue on as James is now about to be lapped. Well, has been lapped by the leaders, but by this crew, by this pack even, beg your pardon. At the moment, no dice there for the time being. And Dan Bliss has also fallen off the trajectory. And I wonder if Race Chase's rears have also gone and is experiencing the same issue. As now, oh my goodness me, Ferrari there has been spun round. That's Mr. Trapped getting out of the way. And, well, that is certainly interesting, as now DRS open for the Ferrari, but is Gaffboy there on the rear of him? And, well, has to defend. Does Gaffboy try anything? Yes, he will. And Mr. Traps there had to give the room because the Red Bull was there, but no dice as Ricky USA is now also there. And my goodness me, Ricky USA tried to do the swap, but made contact with the Red Bull and all of that. And that will leave Gaffboy very angry in that cockpit, and Race Chase has retired in the pit lane now. He will continue no further, and that was unfortunate, but clearly had some sort of problem after contact or after an issue down the start-finish straight. So we'll see if he reports back to us in the general chat. I don't see anyone typing at the moment, but do keep it respectful. And so Mr. Traps now gets back past Ricky USA there, as Ricky did the daredevil of all overtakes, and there's Deckers as well right with him, but Ricky will fight that back as 3 wide into turn 1. This is absolutely insane stuff. It is currently just not calming down as Ricky USA, and it's had another moment. My goodness me, it is not calming down at all. Ricky getting scrappy, and he's trying to put on a show for his own team, but either way, it is coming at a bit of a risk to his car and his own race as well. Ricky currently in 10th place there after qualifying 17th, and he's putting on a very good show as now James does retire in the pit lane after destroying the rear tyres. There was just simply nothing left for him, so we will say goodbye to him. And for the second week in a row for James SUFC, he has retired before the end of the race. Quincy now is currently catching up to third place after just losing it a couple of laps ago. Lap 32 out of 57 here. PH feels like it's just been a swap between him and Den Bliss. Well, it's Quincy there with a 3-second penalty for track limit violation, so now he is in a genuine race, but Jamaican Jam is in prime position to benefit from both of these. He will be on for a podium if he can keep it there. As James also explains, my car controller had an issue. Those rears were randomly just kept going. I see. Okay, so definitely might have been a hardware issue or a game glitch. Certainly hard to tell from up here in the commentary booth. But either way, Quincy now trying to defend from the Haas. But is there any point? We might just want to let the Haas go and try and battle with the Ferrari, but he doesn't do so. And now Real Racer is going to be under pressure from Quincy at the back there, coming up to turn 4. But either way, no dice there for the Williams, as he has to slot him behind and just continue going and just try and count down the laps. But there are plenty of drivers at the back there who will want to take advantage of that. But most of them have penalties. So, you know, you're looking at now Deckers really to try and get up the order. He will benefit massively from all these penalties, but he also needs to make his way up the field in order to benefit from them to begin with. Mr. Traps has 3.9 seconds to Dan Lovett, who in turn has 1.5 seconds to Jamaican Jam. So you're just thinking about the situation here, and Deckers might just like some help from his teammate if he can arrange that somehow, but I don't think these two are in a VC and communicating with one another, so it's going to be rather difficult. But either way, there'll be 24 laps to go at the line, and it is currently PH leading things after having an excellent first stint battle with Dan Bliss. But it is PH who is winning who's winning out at this current moment in time. And now we're about to see the battle for third continue on. Dan Bliss has got away from that, as has PH has gotten away from Dan Bliss. But Real Racer now trying to hang on for all he's worth. But Jamaican Jam, as long as he can stay within all of this, he will be guaranteed third place at the end of this race. As now, going into turn 1, goes Quincy. Gavboy and Mr. Traps now finally swap places, but it's not really advantageous for Gavboy. He has a 12-second penalty for track limit violations here, so I'm not really sure if he's really helping his teammate or not, to be honest with you. But he's going to go side by side with the Ferrari, and Mr. Traps, well, he's going to have the initial edge on the entry to the corner. But what about the exit? Yeah, that was easy as you like from Mr. Traps there. He gets back 7th place after losing it very briefly, and Gavboy there might feel he's wasted it, but into turn 8, he certainly thought about a move, certainly tried to put the Ferrari under pressure, but I think it is now just best to let your teammate through, and Deckers, with no penalty at all, doesn't really need to be held up by this. It's not really a necessity. Hello, Sir Keaton, by the way. This is the Nitro Realistic Racing League, also known as NRRL, and at the moment, we are currently seeing a very chaotic Grand Prix. We've had 34 laps of action. The leaders were swapping for the longest time, but PH has led the way dominantly after the safety car restart, which was caused by Real Racer losing his front wing on lap 19. And now we're just starting to see things settle down a bit towards in some areas of the field. At the moment, Gavboy, I think, is trying to weirdly help out his teammate Deckers here to try and get past, but that Ferrari just remains stubborn in its defense. But that was very wide through 14, so let's see what he can do as he goes down the start finish straight. Deckers will have DRS, of course, as will his... Does his teammate have it? No, he doesn't. Behind at the DRS line, but finally, surely the Red Bull has to give this up to his faster teammate. He certainly does, and Gavboy just slots in behind, and now Deckers could have a chance of getting past Mr. Traps, who has now got 5 seconds on Dan Lovett in front, but surely he would have wanted this to have happened sooner, but he's not close enough to the Ferrari going up into turn 4, and he can't do it. He cannot get past. He will have to wait until the next zone, which is coming up after turn number 10. The detection point is just on the entry of 9, but the Deckers doesn't want to waste any time. He's going down the inside of turn 8, and he's got that move done, but he's going to be vulnerable in the next DRS zone. There's the detection point there. That white line on the approach approach to the turn, that Ferrari wants to stay close to the Red Bull's rear to try and take advantage of not just the slipstream, but also the ERS usage, and that Red Bull is forced to defend. This might not work out for Deckers. He should have been a bit more patient, but let's see if his impatience pays off, and it might do through turn 11, but through turn 12, who has the better cornering grip? It's the Ferrari and the Red Bull side by side. Can the Red Bull make it sick? No! It's gone wrong! It's all gone wrong for Deckers, who has made contact with Mr. Traps, who was hoping for a podium, and now Mr. Traps is looking at his entire race as Ricky slots in like a ham sandwich into the box. Somehow there was room for him to go left and right, and all of a sudden Deckers is back behind his teammate. No help at all from Gavboy, as now Mr. Traps, I don't know if he realises the extent of his damage, as now we have to make a jam in the pits. I missed all of that in that chaos, as Mr. Traps now, I thought he was making it 3 wide into turn 1, but now Gavboy has to give him the room. What is he doing, staying out on that amount of front wing damage? Does he even know he has that much? And Mr. Traps now, is he going to fight back into turn 4? He won't have the grip that he's used to. He might feel a bit of understeer on the way in, and you can see it on the exit there, but he's going to be side by side with the Red Bull. Bit of contact between the two. This could end in tears. It doesn't, luckily. But now he's going to be vulnerable to the Haas in front, who is not afraid to get scrappy into turn 8, into the back of the Red Bull, goes to Ricky, and at the moment now it is getting rather feisty here as Ricky trying something there, surely not, he's bumped by the Ferrari. Oh my goodness me, this is coming absolute chaos, and now Mr. Traps is trying his absolute hardest to get involved in all of this. It's 3 wide into the next turn. Close your eyes if you scare easily, and it's Ricky who is going to suffer big from this, and now there is contact. Deckers is not happy, and he is scrubbing his tyres alongside the King Sauber as Deckers has left. He's finished. Oh my goodness me. What has happened to Deckers? I think he might have rage quit there. I can give you a Discord link if you so wish, Keaton. What an absolute joke, says Race Chase in the Discord. Clearly unhappy with something there as Quincy comes into the pits, but at the moment we have Deckers has just quit, apparently. And at the moment, I don't know what he's more unhappy with. James asking, did you have issues as well? As, I don't think... Oh wait, yes, I can send invites, so here you go. Here you go, Keaton. I'll give you an invite. There you go. G-Dave, please. I'm sorry, I don't have you on EA. And I can't cut away from this, I'm sorry. But there you go. That's our Discord link. I'm so sorry, man. I can't get you back in. Oh, no, and we've had Real Racer disconnect as well. Wait, Deckers is back. I don't know if someone could help out our boy Real Racer. What the hell was I just watching? Exactly. Anyway, let's catch our breath. And we will soon see. Maybe Ricky and Gavboy are going to go side by side with one another, but Deckers is now back with us. Is he back in control of that car? I sure hope he is, for his own sake, for his own race, and for his own confidence. But Ricky here has not been afraid to get scrappy, and he is currently just biding his time and waiting for an opportunity to get past Gavboy here. Let's see what he can do as Quincy and Deckers now swap positions. And who... Yeah, okay, Quincy just had a pit stop. That's why, as Deckers also on 18 lap hold hard, so he has to pit again. A Jamaican Jam also makes his way past. And that is for 8th place. But goodness me, this has been one heck of an evening so far. And this is turning into a great race, as now Deckers and Jamaican Jam, well, it looks like Deckers is back in that car. He is now fighting, and he's going to fight Quincy, but I don't know if he knows. Quincy's just come off a fresh pit stop. He's not going to have the advantage. Deckers now going side by side with the Williams driver, and now up the hill. Who is going to have the advantage? It should really be Quincy, in all honesty. I don't think those hards are going to be able to fight back, but Quincy will probably need a bit of this lap as well to bring them up to the optimum temperature. They should be warmed up by now, but either way, might just need a few more corners, and then he should be a-okay. And that's what looks like is starting to happen, at least from my end observing this. Let's see what Gavboy and Ricky do. And Ricky has just been in supreme, well, has been in certainly a certain kind of form where he brings his elbows out. A very aggressive driver, that is for sure. And Ricky, of course, a reserve in all of this. Certainly trying to prove a point, but maybe not quite the point he wanted to make. Certainly wasn't afraid to get very scrappy in earlier parts of the race. And even from the part you just seen there, just likes to go left and right, try and fit the car. He likes to test the measurements of his car. That's kind of what I'll say. So he's just taking measurements just to kind of see if the kickstable will fit in his garage or not. At least that's how I'm choosing to interpret that anyway. But at the moment, Quincy now in this battle for 8th place. But of course, Quincy will be on the undercut strategy, so he will have the initial advantage. Nobody into the pits of that time of asking in the top 7. Matt Tudor in front of them still does need to make another stop as Jamaican Jam gets past. Decker's there, of course, on the older tyres. He would love another safety car, but we've already had 6 racers retire in the pit lane as Keaton has joined. Hello to you. Welcome on into the Nitro Realistic Racing League. Mr. Traps now with the fastest lap of the race after and no, it was his teammate Real Racer that... No, was it? I can't remember. Yeah, no, sorry, it was him and the Red Bull of Deckers that had the contact there a few laps ago. As I now get my brain into gear. And like, no, either way, you've just got to think now that Decker's confidence is going to be absolutely destroyed. Of course, last week was the highest of highs to start the season. 2nd place in quali. Despite not keeping it on the podium, it was still 4th place. It was still a decent result from him. But now it's just kind of falling off as we've just had a penalty come through there. I didn't quite catch who that was for, as now Matt Tudor is passed by Quincy there, as you would expect. Matt Tudor, 18 lap older tyres, and it looks like to me Quincy is getting ready to be in undercut range of the drivers in front, but really does need to get the hammer down because his main battle is for 3rd place, maybe even 2nd if he can hope. But now, all in the top 7. And, well, if you conclude the top 8 there, as soon as Jamaican Jam makes his way past, which should be in the next few moments here. Here we go, Matt Tudor into the pits, and yeah, that'll be easy as you like for the Haas driver. Decker's behind, still going. Is he going to try and go to the end on those tyres? No way. That'll be nearly 40 laps on the hards. He won't get to the end. He's going to be risking a puncture he's going to be risking a puncture on those tyres. I don't see him getting to the end on that, so he's banking on a safety car, I would think. He did have to pit early as well due to damage in the first few laps of the Grand Prix. So that would also explain why he is trying some... Well, it explains why he is so much tyre life. No, sorry, so low in tyre life at this part of the Grand Prix. It just seems like he did pit rather early, but I don't think that was of his choosing. I think he was more forced into that. But now with Quincy past, both, well, Matt Tudor and now Jamaican Jam starting to get on the rears. We are now looking at what would be a far better representation. It's about... I'm trying to calculate that just off the top of my head. So it's 6 seconds to 4. That's 10. 2 seconds. I'm just rounding this up and down. So it's about 12 seconds there. 24 seconds. And then... Yeah, you've got about 28 seconds or so separating him from the leaders. But to 3rd place, that's where his main battle is. So that's going to be around 15 seconds at the moment. And then 17 seconds as well. So, yeah, he's in undercut range of Real Racer. Let's hear. My tourist snare perfect. My tourist snare perfect. What are you saying? I've got the Pentagon's top cryptologist trying to figure out what the heck you just said there, Dex, is. I do not know what you've just said at all. But anyway, back to the action as Meldrum gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Well, it was Gavboy that had the most, but now that's very quickly has turned around to Meldrum with 15 seconds. Unfortunately, he is well known for accumulating a lot of 3-second post-race penalties. And that unfortunately has continued on into this week. It looked like he was in promising signs of improvement. But unfortunately, that was all early stages of the races, so that was the honeymoon period for the Mercedes and the Scotsman of Meldrum, and that, sadly, that honeymoon period has come to an abrupt end on lap 41 out of 57. So many post-race penalties to serve for him. He might lose out to... I don't think he's going to lose out to Mazza, unless if there's a safety car in these last few laps. There's now 16 to go as Dembliss gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations, but he has proven to be faster than Real Racer. throughout the Grand Prix. But then again, Real Racer hasn't really been in touch with the leaders. So in actual fact, though, as soon as I say that, he has got that gap to under 4 seconds. And I think that gap has been decreasing ever so slightly. So we'll keep an eye on that. But the one to look out for at the moment is between Quincy and Jamaican Jam. And now, well, both Jamaican Jam and Quincy are looking at a 2-second gap to Ricky USA in front. They are not going to be aware of how scrappy Ricky USA gets, as Jamaican Jam now getting past Quincy into turn 1. But I think these two are going to start working together to try and bring down that gap to the car in front. Now at 1.5 seconds, 1.3 seconds between Ricky USA and Gavboy. But I don't think that's really going to come into the equation, as Quincy unable to get back past the Haas driver up into turn 4. Mr. Traps, help. Tell Lovett I am sorry. Why? Oh, your tyres are perfect. Oh, okay. Your tyres are perfect. There we go. So Josh there now gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. That's his 3rd of the evening. That is, his total is up to a post-race of 9 seconds. As now Ricky USA and Jamaican Jam are going to start battling. And here we go. Quincy also involved in this as well. But Jamaican Jam looks like he could be a massive contender for the podium. He's not going to have a go at Ricky at this time of asking. But also, they are starting to enter uncharted territory. They have not been alongside Ricky USA all race. So they don't know how he behaves when two cars are battling. Ricky does not give one who he's battling with. He is not afraid to just swipe that car left and right and try to get involved, as now Dan Lovett into the pits. But let's just see if there is any damage to this Mercedes driver, as I'm keeping an eye on that gap between the Haas and the Red Bull. As who's that into the pits? Ah, Ricky USA straight into the pits. So Quincy and Jamaican Jam are robbed of the pleasure of battling the Kick Sauber. And, well, they will continue on now into the top 10. Jamaican Jam with a 3-second penalty for track limit violation. So now Quincy is in a genuine fight. Well, sorry, Jamaican Jam, beg your pardon, is in a genuine fight with everybody around him for the battle for 3rd place. But will that become the battle for 2nd place? Dan Bliss is losing time the longer he stays out, proven by Real Racer there. The gap is going down, but now Gavboy is going to be a really important factor in all of this. He's gotten turn 8 very wrong. That gets Jamaican Jam through, but does that get Quincy through? But does also Gavboy fight back with Jamaican Jam? He certainly does. He's not giving that one up so easily, and he'll have DRS. And he will, but Quincy there with better traction on the exit of the corner. And look at this now. Quincy is trying to go down the inside here. We've seen many overtakes happen here. Quincy locks up. That'll allow the Haas to go to the over-under through turns 11, maybe 12. But now Quincy is back alongside. This is chaotic stuff here, as the Red Bull now is also trying to look down the inside at turn 13, but no dice there. And he will continue on for the time being. 18.6 seconds now to 3rd place. But more importantly, 21 seconds around and abouts to 2nd place of Dan Bliss. And that will be now the new target for all these drivers. And this could become a chaotic Grand Prix to go to the end here, as now Quincy is about to make a move potentially on Jamaican Jam, or is he just going to wait? Jamaican Jam goes defensive as Deckers and Dan Lovett swap in the background for 7th place there. So that's the Mercedes through into, well, back into a rightful position, as you would say. But here we go now. Quincy is going to make his move up the hill into turn 4. Jamaican Jam's going to go as wide as he possibly can for the over-under, but against Quincy there, that's going to be no chance. But does he try and get alongside there for the next turns? No, he does not. What's my truth? I know, right? As Traps is reacting to the message there in Twitch, which I don't know what he said. You know, at least we know he was talking about his tyres now, but we didn't know that prior. Let's say that for free. But anyway, now Jamaican Jam is trying to find another move on Quincy there, but no success into turn 10, and now it is under an 18-second gap, and you would just start to wonder, if you're Dan Bliss now, you have to pit. You cannot lose out on track position there. You might be alongside the guys, or then again, does Dan Bliss try and go for the soft tyres towards the end? That's what Dan Lovett has done, but he's gone very early onto those tyres, so he's going to be a bit nip and tuck for the end of this Grand Prix, that's for sure. What's my age, says Mr. Traps? I don't know. I don't think I really want to answer that on stream. But of course, you got to remember as well, Den Bliss has a 6-second post-race penalty. He got a second track limits violation. So that has brought everybody kind of back into a battle for second. And Den Bliss all of a sudden looking like he's in trouble as Jamaican Jam goes past down the start-finish straight into turn 1. But how long will that be for us? Meljam, I think, just got 2 3-second penalties. Oh no, he just got the 1. So I think somebody else added on to their total. I think that was Josh there, so he's gone and got his 4th of the evening as he's battling with Mazza in the background, actually. Having a look there as Mazza has continued on, but Mr. Trap's there, overtaken by Ricky. Ricky on soft tyres, but on the kick Sauber of all cars, you don't really want them on there, and Ricky gets past and has 3 seconds less in post-race penalties than the Ferrari behind, turning into a rather, well, you say miserable evening. It was a miserable evening for Mr. Traps, but for Real Racer up in 3rd, it's turning into an evening to remember. But oh no! Kick Sauber and the Ferrari, the 2 sister teams, making contact there, going into turn number 6. And that has turned into disaster there as the Ferrari says, no, I'm sorry, mate, I'll let you back through. He does so... Oh, what's your tyre age? Let's have a look. Hang on a minute, I will answer that in just a second. Dan Lovett has now gone round the outside of Gavboy for 6th place there, but Ricky USA and Mr. Traps both getting involved in contact earlier on. But now we are probably about to see Jamaican Jam make a move on Quincy. But do we see a pit stop from any of the top 3? No, we do not. So the top 3 continue on. I don't see anybody catching up to PH now unless if we have a late safety car and Deckers is able to get involved, as Deckers now trying to hold on for that mystery safety car doesn't work out. And as we say that, Jamaican Jam also gets past there as Deckers also up into 7th place thanks to his teammate Stop. Sorry, that was Gavboy. I do apologise. That wasn't Deckers. I'm not sure how Deckers has made the hard tyres work for that long. As Quincy now back down the inside for 4th place on Jamaican Jam. And he has got that, well, move just about settled. But it just looks like from that camera angle, Jamaican Jam is able to get alongside a little bit. But doesn't quite happen for him, as now Matt Tudor and Gavboy are going to swap positions here on the exit of the pit lane of all places. 6 laps separated in tyre life, and Gavboy should have the initial advantage. Matt Tudor there will probably have to give that up, but he's not going to give it up without a fight. Going into turn 4 now, so many side-by-side battles have gone through here over the Grand Prix, and we're about to see another one continue on into here as Gavboy gives a generous amount of room to the McLaren, but no dice there for Matt Tudor, for Gavboy, as he's unable, he loses another position, and now PH into the pits now, so surely this begins the next round of pit stops for the top 3, well, the final round of pit stops now, because surely, and yes, indeed, as Real Racer now goes into the pits, but now we're going to see where Quincy is in comparison to all of this. Is it soft tyres for the Ferrari? It indeed is, and now Quincy is probably just down the start-finish straight now, along with Jamaican Jam. Here we go, though, and it's going to be oh so tight, and it is Real Racer down to 6th place. In fact, he's still in the pit lane now. Still going down the lane as Jamaican Jam. Very wide into turn 1 here. I'm trying to remember who swapped with who. So that was Jamaican Jam past Quincy at that point of asking. But now Dan Lovett's also getting involved. But Quincy wants to fight back for 3rd place. Goes down the inside again. But this time, this is becoming a rather intense battle between these guys. Dan Lovett, of course, on those soft tyres as Quincy nearly losing it. And that's given room to Jamaican Jam. But Dan Lovett will have the better tyres at this point of asking. Real Racer is also probably going to get a benefit if these 3 keep fighting. Bit of contact between the Haas and the Mercedes. Quincy very wide there on the exit of 8. He should just about keep that position as Dan Lovett there tried to make a move down into turn 9. That wasn't going to really work out. But either way, we continue on. And PH, by the way, came out 12.5 seconds behind Den Bliss. But remember, Den Bliss with an outstanding 6-second penalty post-race. So that will sadly be added on. And I think he is going to lose the 3rd place. Definitely loses 2nd place, that's for sure. But at the moment now, Dan Lovett having to pick his time. Jamaican Jam will have DRS to defend from this rather hustling Mercedes, as now Dan Bliss into the pit lane. So that is one question answered. That is going to be oh so crucial. It looks like the soft tyres should go to the end comfortably for PH and Dan Bliss there. as now he makes his move back to the lead of the race as he was before the pit stops actually occurred. Quincy to the inside, but I think he even knows his point. This is now Dan Lovett gets covered by that billboard down the start finish, straight down the inside of Jamaican Jam, but he will try and fight that back, but no dice there. But who has DRS going up the hill? Let's wait and see. It is only Quincy apparently, but I think Jamaican Jam or Dan should have it, but it didn't look like he did, as Quincy there wasn't able to take advantage of that, and now Dan Lovett is going to start driving away into the sunset. It looks like he's got second place, all things considered, and you know what, if he didn't have that post-race penalty, that all of a sudden becomes an exciting prospect with PH, but I think PH has got this race under control, as Mr. Trapp's on 11-lap old tyres now, I can tell you that, now that I've got a bit of a gap in the action. But now Quincy and, again, Jamaican Jam, these two have been inseparable for the last few stints, but they weren't able to go as long on their tyres, so they've missed out on the soft stop strategy. But maybe these tyres come good towards the end of the Grand Prix. Maybe there is going to be a crossover point. Let's check the live. Yes, I think there will. So Dan Lovett, I think, will start suffering towards the end of this Grand Prix. There are still going to be 9 laps to go at the line. We will start lap... Well, no, the leader is about to start lap 49. Takes the fastest lap at 29.9. But yeah, PH, I think, has timed this perfectly, but Dan Lovett had timed that a bit too early. He might not have DRS now. In fact, Jamaican Jam was just under 1 second when we got to the DRS detection point. So that means now Quincy and Jamaican Jam both have DRS, so no moves there for what is essentially third place at the moment. But Dan Bliss at the moment will not be happy with the fact that he has a post-race penalty of 6 seconds. And I'm just thinking about Deckers here and his tyre life. Is he going to make it to the end? He's on 30-something, about 30 lap old hards. Is he not feeling about time for a puncture? Because Deckers played that one to absolute genius as Meldrum swaps with Matt Tudor again, but Matt Tudor will easily have both 11th and 10th as long as he can keep it between the white lines and not incur any additional penalties for his own race. But Deckers as well could stand to benefit. Well, I don't think he actually will. He's too far away from Dan Bliss to incur his 6-second penalty, and anybody with higher penalties are all behind him. So this has been a pretty big disaster. Needs a safety car in all reality to really benefit from all of this. And at the moment, I just don't see that happening. Of course, when we get to 3 laps to go, doesn't matter what happens, we will not get another safety car. It might be a VSC at most, but it's not going to be a full safety car. So, of course, we're a few laps away from getting into that window of the race. But at the moment, these 3 are providing great entertainment. As Quincy there having a dramatic moment, forces Real Racer off the track. That might go to the stewards to be appealed, but that's a 3-second penalty for Real Racer. And that brings his total up to 6 seconds. And now he's going to try and go left to defend. Well, go right, beg your pardon, to defend from Quincy. And there's Dan Bliss at the back of your frame here. Jamaican Jam is just trying to hold on to this. But Jamaican Jam is not catching Dan Lovett either. Dan Lovett seems to be getting away lap by lap, but will that advantage continue towards the end of the race? The crossover point should be happening in a couple of laps, and even Real Racer is going to be much, much faster, and in fact, he's already down the inside there. A bit of contact between the two, mild contact to say the least, and, well, we'll see how that goes along. But at the moment, Real Racer now back into third place, and he's having a great recovery so far. Of course, remember, caused the first safety car, and, well, one and only safety car so far on lap 19, and has had to start by has had to carve his way through the pack, and he has done an absolutely a great job to just carve his way through. Traps should cause a safety car, says Jackus107. Thank you very much. And let's see if he does. I don't think he will. If anything, it's more likely that Mazza and Josh might cause something. They are currently in a very entertaining battle of their own, but Josh with 12 seconds more penalties than Mazza. I don't think Mazza's going to fight that too hard, if we're being honest with you. As there you go, PH with another fastest lap of the race. Pace is absolutely insane at the moment. Real Racer has also gotten away from Jamaican Jam, so that 6-second gap might come to fruition in the end, but only needs 3 of them, because obviously the people around him are serving post-race penalties in his range as well. Here we go. Den Bliss to the inside of Quincy into turn 1. Quincy does not fight that too hard. He knows where his race is. And that's Den Bliss a bit wide into turn 1, but he should get that all settled down. As now Quincy, well, he's actually going to try and fight this back. Den Bliss, oh my goodness me, forces Quincy all the way off the track. And Quincy, well, holds on to that inside line, gets the car stopped, and Den Bliss probably a bit unhappy with that. But Den Bliss exercising extreme defensive maneuvers there. And, well, Quincy was able to get the car stopped on the apex. It's Den Bliss there. Oh my goodness me, Den Bliss has seen the red mist as well, has made contact and has lost his front wing end plate. And I think Quincy might have something to say about that, to be honest with you, and I wouldn't blame him. We are now at 10-10 in the UK time, and for those of you that are in Europe and watching from lands further away, we thank you for sticking with us. You have seen one of the most entertaining Grand Prix in Nitro Realistic Racing League history, and that is just based on racing standards alone. Of course, some questionable moves here and there, like one we've just seen with Den Bliss and Quincy, but either way, it has certainly been one to remember, but especially for PH, which we haven't really given much attention to. Den Bliss and him were having an absolute great battle, but now we are going to see another battle between Mr. Traps and Gav Boy 97. Of course, Mr. Traps has less post-race penalties than the Red Bull in front of him. As we go on to lap 52 out of 57, it's looking like, yeah, PH is not going to be caught, but it doesn't look like Dan's going to be caught either. It looks like Dan Lovett has got a safe P2, and that is a great recovery from last week's 6th place in qualifying and 7th place in the race. What a great race for the Mercedes. DRS opening for Mr. Traps, though, as he gets back past Gav Boy there. That is, of course, on 15-lap old soft tyres compared to Gav Boy's 6, so that is a 9-lap difference. So that explains kind of the battling going on there. But as long as he stays within that 6-second window to Gav Boy, he's got that position. No problem. But then one thing they'll have to worry about is Meljum. But, well, no, they won't, because he's got 18 seconds in penalties as well. So, unfortunately for Meljum there, he's going to lose out to Matt Tudor if things stay as they are towards the end of this race. Den Bliss, despite his damaged front wing, has not damaged his spirit as he goes down the inside, and more contact between two cars there. Den Bliss maybe just overspeeding into the turn 11, gets 4th place, but again, it looked a bit forceful from where I was looking at, to be honest with you, and I'm not sure if that kind of overtaking is going to stand. Den Bliss might be in a bit of trouble in terms of the post-race stewarding. At the moment, we are approaching 10 o'clock here in the UK time. I was just saying thank you for sticking with us if you are from further afield. Of course, if you are ahead in the time zones, you have seen an absolutely great Grand Prix as Jamaican Jam gets back past Den Bliss, and I think he kind of knew that might be needed to have given back there. I thought he was going to try and dive back down the inside there, but no such luck as Gav Boy and Mr. Trap swap, but I'm kind of going to keep attention away from that. We know how that's going to turn out. I don't really see any reason that could change as now Real Racer and Dan Lovett both, well, Real Racer has 6 seconds more in penalties, but just needs that 6-second gap. Well, sorry, needs a 3-second gap to Dan Lovett. 5 laps to go. I have seen weirder things happen, but that should be durable as long as Real Racer can get back, if he can get past Dan Lovett in the next few laps. Well, really, this is his opportunity to do that. It will be 4 to go at the line. Can he get that move done? No, he's recharging his battery, so he's going to try the trick where it goes 1 second a lap. Remember, he has 4-lap fresher tyres than Dan Lovett. And Jamaican Jam's medium tyres have just simply been no match for the guys at the front there. The soft strategy looked to be the good one, and I'm actually a little surprised by that, if I'm being honest with you. Let's just see how the final few laps turn out here in Bahrain. Of course, once PH goes across the line, we will be 1 lap away from having no more safety cars, so he'll be just hoping against hope that nothing further happens in the field, as Dan Bliss now is more than likely to cause something, because he's just locked up into turn 15 using the best of his softs. That's going to give Quincy another look, but remember, Quincy has fewer penalties than the Kicksauber in front there. Kicksauber still has DRS, but also has major damage to his front wing, as he just gotten a little desperate where he really didn't need to, and now loses 5th place as well. But we know he was kind of out of that. And Dan Bliss there might not be a very happy man once he gets into the paddock post-race. But at the moment, Quincy now on Jamaican Jam again. And this battle is reignited. Real Racer did get past Dan Lovett, by the way. We missed that overtake in all that chaos as Meldrum now into the pits. And that rather solidifies his race. And he's going to lose out to Matt Tudor. Not only on track now, not only with post-race penalties, but now on track. Matt Tudor is also just outside of, well, he's just on the inside of Gavboy's 12-second penalty there. So Matt Tudor may not even benefit from a top 10 finish here. So he's just in a bit of trouble. We'll see if he can keep it within that 12 seconds or if Gavboy gets another penalty. But either way, there's still some things that need to be resolved, but Real Racer made his move for second place and is now starting to get that gap up, but he needs a second a lap. Well, he's got that first second, he's got 1.2 seconds, and now 3 laps to go at the line. No DRS pressure from the Mercedes behind. He is not able to do anything about that. And now Quincy is getting ready for an attack for 4th place as Mr. Traps and Gavboy will continue to go side by side, but again, it is Mr. Traps with the advantage there. He has 6 seconds fewer in penalties to the car around him. And there you go, Dan Bliss, well, bringing to an end what has been a miserable Grand Prix. So Deckers, by doing nothing, will finish P6 after having a rather miserable qualifying. Started in 14th place there. Oh, sorry, 12th place even, and then we'll actually go up 6. So by kind of going on a really weird strategy on 36-lap old hards as well, it's got 3 more laps. Can those hards hang on? We'll wait and see, of course. And now even Ricky USA has got past his teammate. Of course, obviously, all in the pit lane. But Dan Bliss here, a miserable evening for him. One to forget, that is for certain. And now is even behind Mr. Traps there and may not really get him further than 10th place there. And even now, Matt Tudor's 10th place might be back on the cards. But we'll see how that all works out. We will... I wish we could have a gap between what is Gavboy in 8th and Matt Tudor in 11th. But we are not going to get that. Quincy with DRS yet again on Jamaican Jam, but just nowhere to go. But let's give a round of applause here to the guy that has just been untouchable. Had a bit of pressure from Dan Bliss in the first stint there, but since the second stint and since the safety car restart, PH has been untouchable. He has got 2 laps to go, so we're not going to see a safety car. We might not even see a VSC with these circumstances. And we are currently looking at what is an excellent battle for 4th place here. This is still up for grabs as we go to the second to last lap. Remember, it is 3.3 mile circuit here, so when we go into the final lap, this will be the first opportunity, but there are mainly 6 opportunities to go. The second one will be coming in the next few moments, and that was Jamaican Jam very wide out of turn 1, but that was Quincy losing the rear end. He's getting a bit desperate in that Williams, but he's kept that gap to under half a second, using his battery on the exit, potentially causing the rears just to spin out of control a little bit, but no dice there. So that's his second opportunity out of 6 gone. He will have the third one, but I don't know if there's even enough straight for him to use. We'll wait and see as both cars are recharging ERS. You can see that bar there on the steering wheel. That yellow one is recharging, and we are about to see if Quincy can take advantage of that. We are only moments away from seeing where this goes, but you know, we have had an absolutely entertaining Grand Prix, and it has been one to remember. And Quincy there, of course, using his final, well, not his final opportunity, but certainly his third opportunity out of 6. And now it is going to be a 3.3 mile race to see who can get 4th place on track there. Bit of something flying up there, but didn't look to be too bad there. As now into 14 and through 15. It is one final lap for PH in the lead, but one final lap for Quincy or Jamaican Jam to finish 4th, and Jamaican Jam knows there's something at stake here. Is Quincy going to make his move into turn 1? He's going to go to the outside, brake late, lock up the fronts, contact between the two. This could end rather tearfully if this kind of racing continues, but Quincy is ahead for now, and we'll have DRS. It is Jamaican Jam who is now going to try around the outside of turn 4. He goes behind for now, but he dummies Quincy. Does Quincy have the traction on the exit? No, he doesn't, but he's still going to be down the inside into the initial turn-in, but he'll have the outside. He's going to be vulnerable on the next turn-in. It's side-by-side action for 4th place, and Quincy locks up, and I think that might be it from Jamaican Jam, because he's just secured 4th place after a mistake from Quincy. But then again, also Jamaican Jam is going a bit deep into the next turn here. Can Quincy maybe fight back? He's still got some battery left, but is it enough to get alongside Jamaican Jam into the next turn? It is, but he looks on the front left. PH will be across the line in the next few moments. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. But at the moment, it's Quincy using all of his battery. Jamaican Jam using all of his battery as well. And these two, as Rio Racer comes across the line, but what will be second place by a 10th and a half. But this is the action on track that is taking our attention. Does Quincy have enough to have a go at the final turn? No, he locks up the front white. And I think Jamaican Jam is safely 4th place for him. What a race they gave us on the final lap. But now, PH, take a bow. Real Racer as well, take a bow. 2nd place from what looked to be absolute misery. And Deckers as well. What a stint from him as Ricky USA comes across the line there. Gavboy will lose out to both Mr. Traps and Bliss. Meljum, not so much. Matt Tudor, I think, has ran out of fuel and has not calculated that correctly. And he's not going to even finish in the top 10 now. He's not even going to finish. He's even going to finish 12th. It's going to be a rather tight affair if he does try it, unless he's got a puncture. I don't think he has. But anyway, Meljum comes across the line, but has he done enough to get past? Well, to stay in front of Matt Tudor. It won't be enough to stay in front of Mazza, I don't think. But then again, weirder things have happened as Mazza gets past Matt Tudor there. Yeah, Matt Tudor's run out of fuel. Mazza does benefit, but does Matt Tudor? Just about. But either way, GG Dan, that was close. It was indeed. Yes, but so Matt Tudor will benefit from a couple of positions there. But either way, I need to take a breath. That was an incredible race. That is nothing more special than a race like that, and it is PH on top. A dominant race from him. It really wasn't, well, I say it was dominant, but he did have worries from Dan Bliss at the very early stage of the Grand Prix, as it was Dan. But as soon as that safety car restart happened and the pit strategies came into play, he was absolutely untouchable. Well done to PH, the 2nd win in a row. And that was incredible stuff. Race winner there, we all know. Fastest lap, PH. But driver of the day goes to Ricky Along, who made the most overtakes. Cleanest driver. I think, yeah, that is a deserved award for PH there. As now, from your unofficial results coming out of Bahrain, it's PH in 1st, 2nd is Real Racer, Dan Lovett rounding out your podium. Then it's Jamaican Jam and Quincy respectfully rounding out your top 5. Then it's 6th to 10th Deckers, Ricky, Traps, Bliss and Gavboy, with 11th to 14th being Mazza, Matt Tudor, Meljum and Josh. Your non-finishers were James, Race Chase, Bruiser, Astro, I Have No Grip and FC Freestyles. And I think that is going to conclude the Grand Prix for tonight. That was incredible. Mr. Trap saying, I got some entertainment. It certainly was. Indeed. And Race Chase posting a few clips in here. But I think, as I probably should have gone into the chat at the earliest point there. Apologies to the commentary booth. But I wonder if we'll have some post-race interviews here, and I would certainly be interested to see if PH would give us anything here. Maybe not though. I don't know. We'll see who comes in, but just give us a moment. We might see a couple of people come in for interviews, but I don't think we will. We do finish quite late here. It's already 10:05. Yeah, no, it is rather late. People have to be in work. People have to be in school, potentially, as well. Maybe even university or college. And I think we are going to skip the post-race interviews on this occasion. Jamaican Jam not happy with the amount of people that he had to push past. Crazy. A non-contact race. Lads, come on, is the end of that message. In fact, PH came in for a brief few moments. Great commentary, says Deckers. Thank you very much for your compliments. My voice is just about toast. So if we're not going to have any post-race interviews, I think we will wrap it up there for tonight. Dan Lovett, who was... In fact, actually, we do have Dan Lovett in the booth at the moment, so we might just take a quick interview from him. Dan Lovett... hang on. Dan Lovett, I will just make this quick because it is very, very, very late. But anyway, congratulations. That was, I think it was third place for you after all of that craziness. But just didn't quite have enough for second place. It was a 10th and a half. Oh, so close. Do you think anything could just gone that little bit different?
To be honest with you, Dave, if you'd given me that before the night, I would have took it with two hands. So no, I'm more than happy, to be honest with you.
And of course, I was just kind of reflecting what we're talking about your results from last week. 6th place in quali and then 7th in the race. How crucial was it to kind of bounce back from that and get a better result in your eyes for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, Bahrain, if I'm honest with you, if you give me any track on the calendar to race, I mean, I think you commentated on me on my first ever win in a different league. Like, Bahrain just seems to be a track that I like. But yeah, so with the quality, obviously expected to be there or thereabouts. But the quality of the grid, there's a lot of good drivers on there. So I probably would have settled for like around 6th, 7th finishing. But I think we got away quite well. PH and Demless were just pulling me along nicely away from everybody. So yeah, that was just a good start, and yeah, happy as can be, really.
And also, I just kind of want to talk about the strategy very briefly. A lot of soft tyre runners at the start there. I can't quite remember what you went on just because of the Grand Prix that happened, but mediums. So, I mean, what was kind of the strategy there? Was it always a 2-stop, or were you thinking about the 1-stop at any point at all?
No, so I've always been told that with Bahrain that the hards are no good. I mean, people do go long on them. So it was always going to be sort of 2 mediums and a soft, but it was the order I was going to do it. I wasn't sure with the safety cars if there was going to be an early one, and I just felt like the softs would be better at the end, so I just decided to go with the 2 mediums early. And obviously, it worked out perfect, to be honest with you, and the softs just pulled me away again at the end. So yeah, no, it was yeah, just worked spot on. But I never really touched the hards in Bahrain. I've always been advised against it.
Okay, and obviously next week we are off to the iconic Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, not really. I don't have many good tracks, to be honest, and Spa definitely isn't one of them. But yeah, so yeah, listen, let's just see what happens. I think for me, I'm just aiming top 6, 7 every week. Just build up a nice tally of points, really. But I don't think I'm in a title race. But yeah, just see what happens week by week.
All right, Dan Lovett, thank you very much for taking my questions this evening. I will see you next week.
Cheers, Dave. Take care.
You too. All right, that's going to conclude the only interview for tonight. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Alrighty, well, it is rather late, so let's just take you through your calendar for the rest of the season. We are transfer onto that now. Spa-Francorchamps, as we've just announced, is next, and after that, we will be off to China, Shanghai, and then it will be off to Japan for round 5, and probably my last commentary will be in Saudi Arabia or Japan. It kind of depends on how things work out. But either way, that was certainly a very entertaining race, and I hope the next few kind of live up to that standard as well. But hopefully some of the driving can be sorted out. Obviously, there was a few moves here and there, which were certainly forceful, to say the least. But either way, it's provided us some great entertainment. But either way, join us next Sunday at 8 p.m. GMT. Please adjust your time zones as per relevance. And, of course, we will see you at the iconic Belgium Grand Prix. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit plays host to yet another race. And that will be the start of one of the 4 sprint races we will have over the season, as you can see there. Our next one will be in Spain, followed by Austria, and then USA, Austin. Apart from me, myself, and everybody at the Nitro Realistic Racing League, we wish you all a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. stay safe, stay alive, look after your mental health, and we'll see you in Belgium next week. Goodbye.